let's give this page another turn. So let's just talk about the world. Oh yeah.
Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
People of the night, you're here with us tonight.
Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Don't you know it? I bid you good morning, good evening, and good night across the Commonwealth, wherever you're watching this transmission, whether you're watching us from your condo in the sky, or your cabin in the woods, or just couch surfing, or maybe just in the backseat in a road trip, or relaxing on your lazy boy. People of the night, welcome to Mike in the Night. It's 3 a.m. and something's moving you. So crack open a window, sit back, relax, get some coffee or tea, because you're tuned in to Mike in the Night, the voice of the Commonwealth. Broadcasting out of some Chinatown back alley here, if you could see behind me. We have a great show for you guys tonight. We got a very special guest, and he's going to be on in a few seconds here. It's no surprise, it is Steven Van Metre, and the Bond King is here tonight with us. He forgot his crown, though, so we're going to have to kind of, yeah. So anyways, let's do a quick channel plug, and we will get our first guest on. Guys, the dirt bike t-shirts that everybody wanted have come in. So on the Teespring, so here it is, guys. Okay, this is the channel. Don't forget to, oops, I gotta go do channel. Let's go to article scan. There we go, channel scan. There we go. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Guys, don't forget, next week we got Randy Patrick coming on trends in the housing market. Don't forget to set your reminders for that. Also, we got trends in the housing market with Jeb Smith and Michael Invests. And Teespring, guys, the new dirt bike t-shirt has come in. So if you guys want to pick one up, that's what it looks like. The new Mike Martin's channel dirt bike t-shirt looks really good. Good to wear to church if you want something to wear to church. And Facebook is going nuts. I'm getting hundreds of messages on here. Don't forget to fan me on Facebook. I'm almost at 120,000 followers. Go ahead and fan me on there. And we got the Instagram, guys. You could send me your show tips on here. Right there. And last but not least, this is the Steven Van Metre channel, guys. This is what it looks like. I need everyone to go over there right now and subscribe to his channel. I'm going to give you guys a link right now in the comments. Oh, man, we have a lot of people watching already. Woo! Okay, there it is, Steven Van Metre. I need you guys to go over right now, out of respect, and subscribe to his channel. We could get him over 30K, easily 30K subs tonight, easy. Okay, also, I kind of want to talk about a video I'm going to leave a link in the comments for. It's kind of an important video. This video that he made right here, it's called Gold Investors. This is a much-watched video. Guys, I'm not kidding you. I'm not about making blowing up smoke and stuff and making things look better than they should. This is good. This is the best 4 minutes and 41 seconds if you're looking to invest in gold that you will ever watch in your life. And if you read the first comment here by Donkey Balls, he says, "This man can tell it in 4 minutes what others do in 1 hour." This is partially partially down to his speech pattern. I guess the speech pattern he uses is down to earth. It's easy for everyone to understand, and that's why this is like one of my favorite channels to watch on YouTube, and I've been watching it all week in the last 2 weeks in my store on my big TV in my shop. I'm going to give you a link to that video, and we're going to get our guest on right now. It is Mike in the Night, People of the Night. So let's get our man, our one and only. Whoa, he's looking good tonight. All right, Steve, how you doing? Let's get a round of applause for Steven.
Hey, Mike, buddy, man, I'm feeling underdressed. Can I have my cool sunglasses on?
Oh, dude, you look amazing with those, man. You look amazing with those. Those are, we were talked about those earlier. 1984 MTV?
Yeah. Actually, I got them for my pink rabbit, so.
So, you didn't bring the crown?
No, but I got my pink rabbit.
Pink rabbit looks real good. We'll interview your pink rabbit in a few minutes. So, how you doing? Are you okay, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on your show.
That's good. That's good. I've seen you around. You're getting very famous, and I said, you know what? I'm going to email this guy and see if he wants to come on. And you replied right away. And I was so shocked.
You know, when Mike in the Night invites you on, man, you don't turn that down.
I was so shocked. I'm like, okay, this is the showtime. This is that. And I was so shocked that you and then I'm like, okay, great. This is and then we just give you the time, this, and we're done, and you're here.
Look, you're a fan of my show. I'm a fan of you. Dude, all you got to do is ask, and I'm here, buddy.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, and that means a lot to me. You have no idea. Okay, Mr. Bond King, we're going to get into a few serious questions, and then we're just going to go into open floor, have some fun, maybe talk to the rabbit a little bit later. But I want to ask you, there's a couple of people, I got some questions on. Let me read the first question. It's on my phone because the person that wants to ask the question is banned from actually commenting on YouTube.
Okay. I mean, that happens.
Okay. Mike, please ask Steve, if there isn't inflation, is it because it is indexed against the wages? If QE is going to be deflationary, wouldn't that merely mean asset prices, consumer discretionary, and wage falls, and consumer staples like commodities, food rising? In that case, isn't that stagflation?
Yeah, so I think we need to understand what stagflation is. And stagflation is when you have rising consumer prices and rising unemployment. Right. Now, we already have high unemployment. Is it going to go higher? Probably. But at the same time, you have to have rising consumer prices. It is a possible outcome. I think it's if we do have it, it'll be very short term. It's not my base case scenario. A lot of people think it is. But when I look at deflation, I'm expecting to see wages. Now, I mean, you see wages fall, not in the sense that you actually see people that are working have their wages cut. Maybe they lose overtime hours. What you find out is people just lose their jobs.
Yes.
I mean, that's really where it comes down to. I mean, someone who's making $60,000 a year in a professional job, the boss isn't going to come and say, well, we're going to cut your pay 20%. Those things don't happen. You actually see wages tend to continue to rise consistently even through recessions. Mm-hmm. But what I'm looking for in terms of deflation, I'm looking for a drop in consumer prices, a drop in energy prices. I'm looking for things to asset prices, home prices, stock prices. I'm looking for things to fall in value.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Has the pandemic been a bigger drag on the economy since 9/11? That's my question.
A bigger drag than 9/11?
Yeah. How do you feel?
No, but it will be.
Ooh.
So, and why would I say that? Because we've just had this massive amount of stimulus that came out, and it's really, I mean, if you want to talk about papering over, the garbage, it really did. Now, we know stimulus generally lasts 1 or 2 quarters, so it will eventually go away. You're gonna have to. There, thank you. What's wrong?
On your face.
Oh, mouse is on my face, my wife says. Okay. So eventually this will be worse than 9/11. We just haven't, I mean, because we use the stock market as a barometer. We use housing prices as a barometer. And I'm not saying I'm just saying that's generally what everyone does. We haven't seen it affect that, but when it does, it will become very obvious that the situation is really dire.
Yeah. Okay, 3 weeks till election day, 3.5 weeks. What will happen if the market, if there's a Trump win, a Biden win, best and worst case scenario? This is just your opinion. What do you think will happen?
I don't believe that presidents. I mean, well, obviously Trump's probably the first president to have a massive effect on the markets. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen anyone tweet and you can literally watch the market go up seconds later. I tend to believe the economy is much bigger than any one person, and I don't think whoever is president is going to change what is going to happen. I don't think they can change. I said before this election that Trump did not want to win. In fact, I said Republicans should vote Democrat, Democrats should vote Republican because we're going to see a recession in 4 years. But I mean, what did we do? We just pumped the economy full of tax cuts and all kinds of candy. And what it did is it just extended the economic expansion a little bit farther. So it doesn't matter who really wins. At some point, this whole thing comes apart. And again, the economy is much bigger than one president.
Right. Okay, that's a really good answer to that. That's really good because all you hear on other channels is, oh, if Biden, if that, and it just doesn't. Yeah. All right, the hot topic that's going around, negative rates, abolishing cash, and going digital. When do you think could that happen in the West, or is that just a pipe dream that happened, or it happened in Europe, but can you see it in the West?
Yeah, negative rates here in the United States, at least without a change to the Federal Reserve Act, aren't going to happen. Part of the problem we see right now is the Fed has to pay interest on excess reserves. Well, they create those reserves from quantitative easing. So actually what we saw post-Great Financial Crisis when they really started doing quantitative easing is they had to make an adjustment to the Federal Reserve Act, and now that's there. So in order for the federal funds rate to go negative, in my estimation, something structural has to adjust to do that. As far as a complete digital currency and abolishing cash, I mean, well, they could do that at some point. I mean, it's inevitable that we will get rid of paper currencies, and look around the world. A lot of people are using credit cards and debit cards. There are still people that use cash, and that will eventually go away.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, we got a question from Raymond from Helsinki, and it's pretty technical. So in this current COVID environment, do you believe the best practice for investors is a dynamic portfolio based around an active security selection?
Boy, no.
No?
I don't.
Okay.
Let me kind of explain kind of my view here is, if you go first, you start to look at why do people diversify? Well, because they're not certain. Right. But it's funny because most people go to college and get 1 degree. If they were really concerned, why don't they get 3? I mean, Mike, how many jobs do you have? I mean, how many jobs do I have? I mean, if we really truly believe that what we were doing was uncertain, we would diversify. So does active security selection work? Well, in deflationary environments, it doesn't. I look as an investor and a money manager. What I look at is what's my highest conviction play. I don't actually like diversification because if I'm over concentrated, I can make more money that way. But the key is I have to be right. So if I look at a deflationary environment and a repeat of the Great Financial Crisis, I don't see how active security selection is better than being in an index. Arguably it could be worse, because what if my active selection put me in the highest performing tech stocks that take the biggest crash?
Right. Tech stocks don't look real good right now, actually.
They do look good right now. The problem is if we go back to, say, the dot-com bubble, they looked great then, and then tech stocks went down 80%. The problem is some of them went down a lot more than others. Right. So how do you know through active selection you've got the right ones? So I look at it in a whole different view. I'm not big on diversification. I'm big on do a massive amount of research, put all your money on the line, do more research, and when you're right, you get the payoff.
Okay,
but that's not for everyone. I do not recommend that.
For myself, I'm a very active trader. I trade maybe 8 to 13 times a week, and I bounce between gold and oil. That's it, gold and oil. I buy goes down. Buy low, sell high. Okay, we got Dwayne.
I trade. once or twice every couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, because in fact, there was a recent interview that Jeff Gundlach gave, and he's obviously extremely, if humbly, the real bond king. I am obviously the self-anointed bond king, and he said that his investing timeline is like 5 years out, and even he agreed, or he stated that, look, the biggest bet is on the longest term.
Mm-hmm.
And so he looks at long-term trends, and he said, look, most people can't wait 5 years. Most investors have, roughly at the most 18 months they can sit in and trade, and that's pushing people. Right. But he's like, if you're willing to look really long-term, you can make a much larger return. And that's the way I look at it too, from a macro perspective. Is, look, why do I need to be jumping around when I can just set it and let's forget it until the end game, and then come out of that and go into another 2, 3, 5 year view.
Well, okay, that makes absolute perfect sense. Wow, and I see. I used to do that with high dividend paying yield stocks, and paying 4 to 6%. I would usually let it sit, and that did well for a while. And now that you got a lot of dips and stuff, I've been playing around a little bit more. But like you said, if you got the money to put on the line, it's fine. Ooh, we changing the lights.
Yeah, I thought we had a little fun. What do you want? A little Arctic aura? Ooh, that's too dark, huh?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
I'm feeling tropical.
So we got a question from Dwayne from South Africa. He can't be live on the show because it's like 4 a.m. there. He asks, artificial prompt injections. How long till this end?
Artificial injections last 1 to 2 quarters right now.
Okay. And then that's it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and look at what we're seeing right now. When did we start getting the injection, the stimulus here in the United States? We got it, starting really heavily in May. Well, It's about 6 months, so 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Question. This is from Dmitry Lenin from Russia is asking, good to see my 2 favorite YouTubers together. Woo! Can you give us a woo? Yeah, baby. Okay. Yeah. So this is one of my questions I put together. Steve, can you give us a vision of what or walk us through what you think a correction would look like? Talk us through if you see a runoff on the banks, would gold soar? What would happen if in your vision, if you start to see the things start to go south? Do you see housing go first? What would happen?
No, what I see is a replay of the Great Financial Crisis, only worse. So how do I see this playing out?
Yeah.
The first thing that's going to happen is we're going to see a short squeeze in the bond market. And I know, Mike, you watch the show, and I know many other viewers do. We're seeing the massive setup in the speculative short position building for that right now. So we see a short squeeze in the bond market. Now, what's critical about that is we have a dollar shortage. So if you're short something and you're getting squeezed in that position, what do you have to do? You somehow become you have to be a buyer. One way or the other, you become a buyer of a security to hedge your short. Well, if there's a dollar shortage and there's, you now need dollars. Well, the problem is there aren't many of us. So now the dollar starts to rally as dollar demand starts to build. Now you've got bond prices rising. You've got bank lending standards tight, and now the dollar's rising. You have what I call the trifecta of tightening going on. Now, what are you doing if you're in one of those positions? Well, you now got to sell stocks. Whoops, you're short volatility too. Sorry, my friend. So now you've got an even bigger problem. As you sell stocks to cover your bond shorts, your vol shorts are now kicking you in the face too. So now you got to sell more stocks, and next thing you know, you effectively get an insolvency event where the markets start coming down. You will get bank failures, although what will be different this time is you'll see a lot of small or medium-sized banks fail instead of the large ones. And why is that? Well, since the Great Financial Crisis, the large banks figured out that they didn't want to be the blame the next time around. So what did they do? They cherry-picked the loans, and they kicked all of the stuff they didn't want down to the smaller tier banks. So you will see banks that are holding a lot of, say, automobile loans and things like that will eventually fail. And housing usually is a delayed reaction in these type of events, but I do believe, and I know we were talking about this before the show. I mean, there's housing bubbles all around the world that, are eventually going to pop. But yeah, my whole view is we're going to see the Great Financial Crisis replay. I call it the GFC 2.0 plus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it'll play out in a similar fashion. And it starts with the bond market saying that, look, this is a big problem.
Yep.
And and we're seeing it now. We're seeing the credit conditions. See, we're seeing things happening now because of stimulus that we didn't see going into the Great Financial Crisis. And going into the Great Financial Crisis, we saw a deceleration in lending growth that eventually became a contraction. Well, now because of stimulus, we're actually seeing a contraction. So for me, wow, when this thing starts to unwind, it's going to be very interesting.
It's kind of cute how you say the Great Financial Crisis, because we usually say in Australia or in Canada, we usually say the GFC.
Yeah, GFC 2.0 plus. That's what it's going to be.
Great Financial Crisis. That's so cool. Okay, so we got a Pavel Alexei from from Siberia, Russia, says, can America possibly enter a zombification economic state like Japan?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that is what will happen unless there's a change in the monetary system. I mean, if you look at all these central banks, Japan was just leading the path of what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. So we've got low interest rates are low. They're going to go lower, and the federal government's going to view this as an excuse to borrow. And that's actually the dumbest way to view interest rates. When you really understand what's going on, governments should view low interest rates as a reason to run a surplus. Right. They should borrow when rates are high, run surpluses when rates are low. So all they're going to do is make things worse by borrowing more money. They're going to turn to the central bankers at the Fed, who of course will be more than happy to do more quantitative easing. And next thing you know, we're going to look exactly like Japan. I mean, we're following the same path. We're just behind them.
Yeah, I think we're somebody was saying about 7 to 8 years behind Japan, roughly.
Maybe a little. Yeah, it could be maybe a little bit longer.
Okay.
But I think we'll catch up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's kicking the can down the road, and that's one of the most scariest things, especially when the previous administration says we're going to raise the debt level, but we're not raising the debt level.
Well, it's not that we're kicking the can down the road so much. It's that people, they think that monetary policy works, and the central bank, the Fed believes its policies works, and they don't. And the problem is we're just going down the same path expecting a different outcome. And and what are they going to do? Is the Fed going to raise rates? No. I mean, obviously any member of the Fed that comes out and says, you know what, the smart solution is to raise rates, they're gone. Could you imagine if any presidential administration came out and said, I think the problem right now is we have too big of a debt. We're going to actually we're going to cut government spending. We're going to lay people off. No, that's not. They're all going to lose their jobs. So they have to continue down the path they started because they don't know what else to do.
So, in your opinion, you think gold and silver, maybe some physical gold and silver, is a good way to hedge against this uncertainty that we're headed towards?
I've been very, and this is you're going to get a lot of bad comments about what I'm about to say, my friend.
No.
But my view is that gold or precious metals will pull back, just like we saw in the Great Financial Crisis. Now, why we will see that is because real yields will rise. And now, when I say real yields, I mean inflation-adjusted yields. So take, say, the 10-year Treasury and subtract the year-over-year rate of CPI, for those viewers who don't know what we're talking about. So what I expect to happen is, even though interest rates are going to fall, I expect the consumer price index to fall much lower. Now, when that happens and real yields go up, gold and precious metals are inversely correlated. So it should, and doesn't mean it will, but it should bring an adjustment down to gold. And we saw this in 2008 where, gold was in the early stages of this massive run higher, and it had a 30% correction. Yeah. What it was another buying opportunity for anyone that missed it. But those who were like, gold is impervious to market downturns, well, they were wrong, because real yields was the great equalizer. And I think that's what that piece that you suggested earlier, that 4-minute video, talks about, is a relationship between gold and real yields in the consumer price index.
That was an incredible video. I'm going to put the link back in the live chat. We almost have 300 people watching, and right now,
I'll drink to Mike. Come on, man, we got to have a drink to that.
I got a little bit of vodka in this, okay?
All right, okay.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
All right. Okay, so let's take a look at Q1 2021 predictions. So we're just after the election. It's 2021. I put my hand to God and ask that we don't have another 2020 year like we did with this whole crap, and I hope 2021 we're in the clear. I really hope so. Not only financially, with everything. I'm just tired of this whole lockdown crap and what's happening in Australia. And a lot of people now are tuned in from Australia, know what I'm talking about. Okay, 2021 predictions. Gold and silver. Where do you see it going?
Well, can we back up and say 2021 is going to be a terrible year? I mean,
tell us.
Well, sure. I mean, well, look, the COVID case counts around the world are rising. I mean, they're back almost at their peak, but no one's paying attention to it. Mm-hmm. The U.S. and Canada, as we know, are about to hit winter. So not only do we know that winter months are worse for COVID, we also now have the variable of the flu season kicking in. So you have a double whammy there. We're probably, unless we get a stimulus bill in the next week, now we're looking at the United States not having a stimulus bill probably till February. For those of you who are wondering why I'm saying that is it takes about 2 weeks to pass a bill through Congress, even if you got everybody in line. I mean, it's not like everyone gets together and just signs it and it's done. It still takes about 2 weeks, meaning President Trump and Congress have about 1 week before the elections, and if they can't get it done, and I said they probably won't, no one is going to touch this thing with a 10-foot pole going into the election or immediately after, because it's very likely that we may not actually know who's president. Even if we think we know, there's going to be probably lawsuits filed and all that. And what a lot of people don't understand about Congress is they care about being reelected a lot. Right. And you don't want to be supporting something or a potential presidential nominee who turns out not to actually be the president. So you don't want to stake your claim on the wrong side because you don't want to look like a fool. Mm-hmm. So the reality is we probably won't see another stimulus bill till February. The U.S. economy is stalling out, and we're seeing, and I don't know what's going on. I'm not familiar with Canada as much, but here we're seeing it stall out in the economic data. It's going to start to roll over. And yeah, I don't see things getting really better until potentially mid-2021. My base case for an economic turnaround is 2022.
So, are you projecting another year of hell?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it really makes sense. I mean, if you look at what's got to happen, we've really got the pandemic has to go away. I mean, and how much longer can government? I mean, the problem we have is governments are really trying to support businesses and all that, but it's inevitable that you look at the restaurant industry here. I don't know what it's like in Canada, but in the United States, a lot of restaurants are going to have to seat outdoors in the winter. Well, that means more and more restaurants are going to fail, more small businesses are going to fail, and there's just nothing that's going to keep this thing together. I mean, you look at the corporate space. You've got businesses that have got people working from home. Well, what does that mean if you own a bunch of corporate real estate that you're renting out, and all of a sudden people don't want to renew their leases? I mean, you've got landlords in the regular rental market, in the residential market, where people aren't even paying. I mean, you've got so many structural issues that everybody's just kind of, like you said, I'm just ready for it to be over. The problem is, it's not ready to be over yet.
Because I've been discussing on trends in the housing market now. We're on almost episode 250, and I've been discussing a lot about affordability issues that we have in the Commonwealth. You guys are so lucky in the United States, and I bring it up so many times that you could go pretty much anywhere and get a decent average paying job and still do well. Where as opposed to us, we're in a situation where we don't have many cities to go to. You guys have more cities in the state of Texas than we have in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and those countries together. And it's been really tough for us to, a lot of people are mass exodusing. I noticed a mass exodus in California. People are headed eastbound, and it is affecting the markets there. Housing markets are becoming out of reach for the locals there. Do you see anything happening in 2021, or is it just going to get worse? Do you see more people leaving California?
I'd like to leave California, but I'm not going to be able to get out of here that quick. California is one of those states that people want to be in and that people want to leave. And who do you see leaving? The people that accumulate wealth, people that are closer to retirement, and they're escaping the taxes and all that. But as far as the climate and job opportunities, well, California, despite all its flaws, seems to somehow create opportunity for people. So there's still an attraction to be here. But long term, for me and my wife, we're definitely, hopefully in a few years, headed out of the state.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is California, Oregon, and the state of Washington State there? They've been having major affordability issues in the last 3 years, especially with housing. Do you see any correction with that? Major affordability issues.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely expect there to be a housing collapse. I mean, yeah, we're not. I mean, I don't know. I haven't followed the housing market as close as I did going into the GFC, only because I was dabbling in real estate at the time and I was far more interested. The issue I have now is at some point you run out of people that can buy, and it's like anything. When the buyers are exhausted, prices have to fall. It doesn't have to be houses; could be stocks, could be anything. The reality is there is a point where housing prices are too high and no one can afford it.
You know what, Stephen, you brought up something actually really interesting. A few weeks ago on the show, we talked about how the province I'm in, they're having really tough time finding first-time home buyers now because no one doesn't have $2 million to buy a teardown.
Yeah. Well, and those are factors as well. I mean, there's 26.5 million, somewhere there between million Americans that are on some sort of unemployment benefit. Mm-hmm. Well, gee, you can't get a home loan in that. And the same problems are happening in Canada and all around the world. And you've got these massive property values. And we could just stop and say, well, what if it takes a 2-income family, or maybe in Canada, a 2 million 4-income family to buy a home, right? I mean, what happens if one person loses their job or has a decrease in income? How long can they hold on to that payment? Okay, so we're in deferment. All right, no problem. We bought 6 months. Well, what happens when the 6 months is up? Can I pay that lump sum loan, or even can I resume just the payments if the deferment gets moved to the end? And there's a lot of things that we're going to find out here in the United States in the next couple months, because I look back at when did we really start to go in deferment? In May. Mm-hmm. So May, June, and July. So where are we at? We're in October, the very first month now that we're going to see loans come out of deferment. And some of my followers have said, wait till December because student loan payments come out of deferment in December. Now, I don't have student loan payments, so I don't really know if there's something if there was a reason why December was the month, or I don't know. But everyone that's got them is saying December is the month. And there's going to be a problem when all these loans start coming back out of deferment, because I don't think people can actually make the payments on all. Yeah. And when that happens, price is going to come down.
And over leveraged, we were discussing. I had someone else on the show a few weeks back, Martin North from Digital Analytics. The average.
Oh, my friend Martin.
Yep. He basically, we were going over a few articles in Australia, and the average Australian is Australian income, housing income, income to debt ratio is about over 200%.
Oh yeah, people are massively over leveraged all across the planet, but that's the gimmick of a debt-based monetary system: is leverage, and until the music stops and you find out that there's no chairs for anyone to sit in.
Yeah. Take a sip of your beer, man.
Oh, no, dude. I got some, what do I have here?
Cognac?
Whiskey.
Oh, whiskey? Yeah, whiskey? Yeah, I like whiskey cola. Like good, like top shelf whiskey with cola. People say I ruined it. I should have it with ice, but.
Why do you mix top shelf whiskey with cola? Isn't that, I mean, if you're mixing with cola, you could mix with anything.
No, it's because it tastes like rubbing alcohol, like some of the lower end whiskey, yeah.
Yeah, well, one day we'll have to have a Mike in the Night party. We'll all get together and drink whiskey colas.
When this whole thing opens up and you want to take a drive up to Canada, you're more than welcome to come. I'm probably like 15 hours drive from you, and
right on.
Yeah, we could have because I have a store downtown here in my town, and everyone could meet there from YouTube. It'd be like a big party, like a big gathering, you know.
Oh, dude, it would be awesome.
All right, I got one. Are you ready for this? This is a question that I had for someone else on the show, but they couldn't give me they couldn't really answer this, so I'm going to give it to you, all right?
Okay.
The Fed owns a total of 23,940 different securities. It is now the world's biggest investor. What does this mean for the small guy? What does this mean for the average Joe Donuts?
I mean, what is it? I don't know that it really means a whole lot. It just means the Fed's trying to use monetary policy to stabilize the financial system. The fact that they own that many of them tells you that what they're doing doesn't work, and they have no clue what they're doing, because if they knew what they're doing, you wouldn't have to buy that many things. I mean, it's like, look, if we looked at your store, if you are a good businessman, right? You know what your customers want. You stock your store with the things you know that's going to sell. And then you stock it with some things that you think those customers might be interested in, but they didn't know about. Right. But the fact that if I went to your store and you're like, man, Steve, I've got 23,000 different things, I'm like, well, either you really have a very diverse customer base or you're a complete idiot. Yeah. There's one of the two things that I have to determine. And that's what we should understand about the Federal Reserve is they have absolutely no clue what they're doing. They're taking the shotgun approach, and they're hoping that somehow all of this magically solves the problem, even though it's not going to.
We got Dave in Sydney, Australia, asking, I've been purchasing U.S. dollars here in Australia. How much do you think is a good amount to have on hand?
I assume he's referring to physical currency?
Yes.
Since I live in a dollar-denominated world, I have no clue.
Okay.
I mean, if I looked around my house, I have to ask my wife, because I literally have $0 in my wallet. So if we scrap together, if she said we had $100 in our house, I'd be impressed.
Because why he's saying that, because if you're living in Australia or in Canada, we, like in these countries, even Argentina, we actually buy American currency and hold it. Right.
So that's pretty cool. I see. Obviously, in a dollar-denominated world, I wouldn't be holding euros or anything else. So I don't know what that's like.
Right. So for the answer to him, I would say enough to get you out of the country and enough to get you somewhere. Like if something goes really bad in Australia, just enough to get you out of the country and maybe 2 months to live.
Well, and possibly the question is he's used it as a hedge against the Australian dollar.
Oh, the Australian dollar is going to tank coming when the markets, the ASX and the All Ords. I'm going to keep an eye on them next week because I have a feeling we're going to start to see some unusual patterns before this election.
Well, yeah, and I'm very dollar bullish, so I could see it as a I mean, if I lived in a different country, then would I want to hold dollars? Yes. Now, obviously, how much I couldn't make that determination for him, but I can see what he's doing is he's hedging against the Australian dollar, and it makes a lot of sense to do that.
I do that with the Canadian dollar too. I buy a lot of American and hold, right? And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just want to kind of touch on something, Steve. You probably won't believe this, but did you know in Argentina, they've made it illegal a few months back to buy to spend more than $200 of your pay to buy more than 200 American dollars?
Huh.
Yeah. In Argentina. They've put so many rules in, and they've limited the amount of currency that American currency that the banks could hold, because everyone's converting their Argentinian peso into American dollars.
So what you're saying is I should get a suitcase full of $100 bills and go to Argentina and I could sell them for a profit?
You probably could. Yes, you probably could. You could sell it over spot.
Problem is, and then I have their currency, and I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, Argentinian peso. You could probably take it to Brazil and have a party with it or something, and that's about it.
Yeah, or maybe I could have a fire or something.
Yeah, wallpaper. All right, people, we got 323 people watching live. We have beat CNN. CNN's live right now. They got 73 people watching, and we got 324 people watching on Mike of the Night, and on our other platform streams across, I don't even know, I can't even see. I have all these chat rooms open from different streaming platforms. And so before we ask you some major, let's get a little personal with Steve now.
Oh, wait, we need a woo for all those viewers, man.
You woo.
Woo!
And
there we go.
All right, let's get a little personal. This stuff normally you wouldn't be talking on your channel. Before we get into the open up questions in the live stream, guys. So, guys, hold your questions for the live stream. Thank you, Steven Sewell, for sending me $10 in super chat. That should be enough money to get me to Seattle. Thank you very much. Because I'm only 4 hours away drive from Seattle, right? So
there you go.
Okay.
That's very kind.
Okay. Any big plans for your channel? What do you got going down? Any projects?
No, my channel is literally impromptu every day. I mean, I think like right now I have an idea what I'm going to do on Monday. If you said what are you going to do on Wednesday, I have no idea. Okay. I don't edit. I don't plan. Sometimes that morning I make some notes and whatever happens.
Okay. What's your favorite sport?
Favorite sport? Well, I think I should maybe have a drink to that.
Okay, hockey. Me too. I'm a hockey guy. I grew up watching the Toronto Maple Leafs.
But here's the thing: I don't watch a lot of sports anymore, and in fact, we don't even have cable TV, so I can't even watch hockey. I don't even know if they're playing hockey right now. I don't follow it that closely.
Whoa, you don't have cable? How do you watch CNN?
I don't watch CNN.
I'm just kidding.
I don't watch any cable news network. Period. I don't watch it. I'll even add this. Some people are amazed. I don't watch any financial news network.
Really?
I don't like them.
Okay.
I think when people start doing their own research and start thinking for themselves, mm-hmm. it really is more impactful than whatever garbage is spewing across these cable news networks.
That's correct. I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very happy that because a lot of people here are very like-minded when it comes to cable, right? And I cut my cable I think like 18 years ago, and I've never looked back. I've always streamed or downloaded stuff.
Good for you.
Yeah, this bud's for you. Okay, if you had a favorite ice cream flavor, are you a chocolate guy, vanilla, banana, cherry? What are you?
Oh, man. When we used to buy ice cream, what did I buy? I like vanilla because you can put things on it, like chocolate sauce and whipped cream. It's versatile.
Okay, that's a good one.
You can
put that in root beer.
I like options. I'm an options guy. I like choice.
You could do a root beer float with that.
That's right.
Travel destination.
Right now, nowhere.
No, I mean, if someone gave you a golden ticket to go away, where would you go?
I would go to Orlando, Florida.
Nice. Okay.
Because I want to move there, so I need to take my wife who's never been there, so we can go check it out.
I've always taken you for a Florida guy. I'm not joking. I lived in Florida for 5 years. I don't know. I just always figured, I've met a lot of people and I obviously lived there for 5 years. And you seem more of like a Florida guy to me.
Yeah, well, California and Florida are not tremendously different weather-wise in some cases, but for me, I want to be in a place where there's no state income tax, and if I can live next to Walt Disney World, well, I've got entertainment 24 hours. Well, not 24 hours a day, but I've got it in my backyard, and I think that'd be pretty cool.
So then, when I fly down with the kids, I can meet with you and then go on some rides at the same time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Woo!
Absolutely. Woohoo! That'd be fun.
Okay. What's your favorite car?
Favorite car I've owned or favorite car in general?
Both.
Favorite car I've owned would be I owned a 2012 BMW M3 convertible.
Nice.
I don't know if it was my absolute favorite. It was the coolest car I've ever owned. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. My favorite car was it a 2008 BMW 335i, the twin turbo one.
Nice.
Other than the automatic transmission that was in it, I thought that car was a lot of fun. But lately I've been driving EVs, and I love EVs because
What's EV?
I don't really think about them. They don't have to do anything. I just push the button, turns on, drive to work, don't think about it.
Like EV means electric vehicle. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I got to get up with the acronyms here.
Yeah, well, in California, they give you a lot of money to buy these things, so I figured, well, why not?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it. I just wanted to ask you a few questions. What was your favorite beer? Molson X?
I haven't drank a lot of beer since the shutdown, man. you know, I just like regular beers, bloggers. I'm not into all the fancy stuff. I'm just a regular guy.
So you like in Canada we drink a lot of not Budweiser. Sorry, we drink Labatt Blue, Molson Canadian.
Dude, you're gonna get shot for saying you drink Budweiser in Canada.
No, we don't. No, I'm just saying. It's Labatt Blue, and it's about Labatt Blue is a big one. Molson Canadian's another one.
Yeah, Canada's got fantastic beers.
Oh yeah, the down south from us, it's pretty. I think that's where they put the line, the border, and that's where they divided the beer into stronger and water.
I mean, isn't that what hockey is all about? Fighting and drinking beer? I mean, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yep, that's what it's all about, fighting and drinking beer. All right, let's open the floor to questions here, guys. So it's going to take a few seconds because the stream has a...
Yeah, let's get some fan questions here.
We got a 15 or 20 second delay in the stream. And guys, please, we got Vlad here. We got... Standing Mannequin in the house, Metal Gear Mark III, Layla. In the comments, Layla is one of our correspondents in Syria. Nice.
Yeah, she wants in on the deal here.
Nice.
A lot of people don't know you have a pink rabbit. I have many rabbits of many colors.
Like, did you have them as a child? Like real rat? Like, did you raise them and eat them?
No. What happened? The story of the rabbit's kind of cool. If you want, I'll tell it to you.
Please.
So we were at the Mall of America. One day I was there for a business trip, and my wife bought some packets of little mini peeps for her kids, and she bought one for us. And then one day we got a yellow one, and then the pink one came home. And for whatever reason, they started getting names and personalities. And then next thing you know, when you have 1, 2 rabbits, you get 3, 4, 5. And my wife ended up having some pretty major surgeries 18 months, about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And to help her get through it, I actually created a whole world out of the rabbits. They all had names, they had personalities, they had things they did every day. And I did that to help her get through that mental struggle because they had put her on a lot of opioids to deal with her pain issues. And so not only was she rehabbing from these massive, I mean, she had an 8.5-hour back surgery where they literally cut her open top to bottom.
Wow.
And operated on her and put, metal rods in her back. And she also withdrew from opioids at the same time. So she was going through this hellacious situation. And so mentally for her, and then for me, I just created this whole world because rabbits are innocent. Rabbits don't hurt you. Mm-hmm. I mean, rabbits not going to, And so oddly enough, we actually now have a pet rabbit because of it. But even today, the rabbits still have things they do. And we still talk about like them, and they're part of our life because they were with her through that traumatic time.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. That's really, really, that's really touching. That's really nice that, and you're there, Thanks. You're strong. You got a strong will. Very, that's good. We're very like-minded. We're very family oriented. I'm like you, very family, always looking after the my wife and stuff. And like always making sure that things are kosher. Everybody's happy. And that's good. That's really good. Creating that effect the ambient effect is really good. So first question we got here.
That. Yeah, questions. Let's do it.
Okay. My 2 cents is regarding crypto coins. What do you think about crypto coins in blockchain that are 100% backed by gold and silver? There are few companies starting this.
2 years ago, I said somebody would make a lot of money if they did a cryptocurrency backed by gold. And then I never actually, and I think I looked it up and I saw someone was doing it. I'm like, well, good for them. Mm-hmm. And that was as far as it went. I do think there's anything gold backed, I think has some value to it. Now, what will happen in the future with I couldn't tell you, but I think it's a brilliant idea.
Okay, Jim Duak says the U.S. dollar DXY question. Steven said last week that the U.S. dollar DXY should fall to support the level around 93. Do you think that the DXY will approach March's high of 103?
When the dollar breaks out, I think it's not only going to approach 103, I think it goes through 103.
What?
Well, okay. So let's talk about this, because a lot of people just don't understand where I get this view from, because they think, oh, the dollar's going to go to zero or whatever it's going to do. And I encourage all of your viewers who have their charting software or bring the charting software up, look at bond prices, not yields, bond prices and the dollar, put them on the same chart.
Okay.
Because what are they telling you? So when bond prices rise or interest rates fall, same difference, it tells you that financial conditions are tightening. So what does a weak dollar tell you? It tells you financial conditions are loosening. So how is it possible I can have bond prices that are, near their all-time high and a dollar at its lower end of its 5-year range, and it makes sense? It can't, because one's telling me conditions are tight, one telling me conditions are loose. So if you chart them, you'll notice that they kind of have like what I call a relationship. They're a dating couple. Sometimes they like each other and they're together. They'll see them moving together. Other times you see them apart, where maybe he's mad at her or she's mad at him, but eventually they always come back together, because if financial conditions are tight, then the dollar will rally to confirm that. If financial conditions are indeed loose, then interest rates will rise and bond prices will fall. So the question becomes what is the high probability outcome? And the high probability outcome is that interest rates go down to near zero or zero, bond prices rise, and that means not only does the dollar have to go up to 103, it actually would go through 103 to catch up to bond prices.
Holy crap. So for people living in Canada, that's going to mean we're going to have $1.47 in Canada. In Australia, that means you're going to have $1.60 in Australia. And New Zealand, I'm sorry for people living in Kiwi land. I'm really sorry down there. You're looking at $1.85, maybe $1.90 Kiwi dollar to the American. So if Stephen is correct, which he usually is, that's kind of scary for us living in Canada and in Australia and Canada and the Commonwealth.
Well, I won't know if I'm usually are, but I'm pretty sure I'll be right about this. Now, but that comes back to the question earlier of, right, how many dollars should I hold? Well, the answer is how many dollars do you need to hedge your position of your local currency?
Yeah.
So, and I can't answer that question, but if I was in another country, would I want to hold dollars? Probably would.
Yeah.
Would I want to get them when they were relatively inexpensive? I probably would.
Yeah.
And the other factor that people are missing here is why did the dollar actually weaken? Now the answer is, oh, it was quantitative easing, blah blah blah, the Fed. Okay, let me frame it in a whole different perspective. Supply and demand, right?
Right.
I mean, in the end of the day, it's supply and demand factors. So why was there this lack of demand for dollars all of a sudden, I don't know, after March? Gee, maybe we had people in America lost their jobs, right? Or were furloughed or sent home. The government gave them more money and said, you can't spend it because all the stores were closed. And by the way, when we're done with that, we'll put all your loans in deferment. Well, what does that mean? People don't need dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen to dollar demand as these loans come out of deferment? And we're already starting to see it. When did the dollar start to firm up? And this is the question a lot of people missed. It started to firm up right as all these extra stimulus stuff started to fade away. It was almost, the timing was perfect. Mm-hmm. And the other factor that people miss is the quantitative easing actually causes the dollar to rise. Well, if you look at the monetary base, which is a good, it's not the Fed's, specifically the Fed's balance sheet, but they do have control over it. Or you could look at the Fed's balance sheet. Look at where the Fed's balance sheet and the monetary base bottomed and started going up right as the dollar was bottoming. So we know, even if we don't know, we still know that the dollar is more likely to go up, because as all these loans come out of deferment, dollar demand is going to go up and people have less money. Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense to me.
Can you ask, where did that go? Man, I'm just moving too fast here. Oh, wow, that's way up there. Yeah, someone says that Steve has some of the best analogies. Of course, I love your analogies on some things. They're so cool. Oh man,
Thank you.
Please, guys, forgive me. I lost I'm just trying to find. There was a couple of questions here, and then everything moved so fast. Okay, nope, that's not for you. That's somebody arguing in the comment section with somebody else. Let me see here. Oh man, I had a pile of questions lined up here. Guys, keep asking your questions. Can we get Steven's take on clean energy and solar? What's up with the mania in these stocks?
I have no idea, but I can tell you, as someone who has a mountain of solar panels. Well, that's a terrible analogy. I have a lot of solar panels on my house. I have on my second electric vehicle, soon to be third. I even converted, much to my wife's displeasure, our gas heating. I didn't convert it. I just bought electric heaters. Look, I think it's fantastic. It saved me a ton of money, but the infatuation with these stocks makes no sense to me at all.
Okay. My 2 cents is asking, is UUP and TLT good to have for rising dollar? Appreciate any other investment strategy for rising dollar.
Unfortunately, I can't give investment advice due to my license, which would be answering that question. What I can encourage, you said his name was 2 cents?
Yes. My 2 cents.
My 2 cents. So here's what I encourage you to do, my friend, is look at what is available. So you're looking at ETFs. Those may be the ones you're looking for. What I would do is go to ETF database, etfdb.com. I would go look for bonds, currencies, and find the ETFs that match what your investment thesis is. So if you're looking at my thesis, that is a rising dollar and rising treasury bonds, then you would want to find an ETF that was obviously dollar bullish, and you would want to find an ETF that invested, or several that invested in treasury securities, and I think you'll have no problem finding the ones you're looking for.
Okay. Papa Pissed is saying, Steven, what is the tax rate in California?
Ridiculously high. I think the top marginal bracket here is around 12.3%.
Oh, wow. That's actually a blessing. In Canada, it's actually crazier. It's crazy. It's almost like, yeah, we'll get into Canada another time, but yeah, it's pretty.
Well, yeah, but you get that wonderful free healthcare that we talked about earlier.
Oh no, I know, but it's got its moments, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going through the comments here real quick, guys. Keep putting in your thing. I'm gonna get to them here. Just keep putting in.
But while you're looking, I'll go back to these solar or green energy stocks. I think they'll have a reality check, big time.
Okay.
I think people are highly infatuated with them, and infatuation usually is not a good thing. These companies still need to make a profit, and you look at a lot of electric vehicles, and I, as an EV owner, obviously have a very strong opinion about them. And there's two types of EV owners. There's the rich who buy them because it's a status symbol, and then there's people like me who are cheap and have a short commute and realize that, hey, I can actually save a lot of money as long as I don't care which kind of car I drive, because I can go around and shop for the best deal and then get all of these state and county tax credits and federal tax credits for it. Mm-hmm. The problem is your average person, that doesn't work. I have probably close to 30 solar panels. I have a level 2 charger in my garage. I have a 7-mile commute. For me, it works out. I don't ever go anywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, my wife and I, our world is maybe a 15-mile. Well, she actually goes farther than I do, but our radius of how far we go isn't that much. So for us, it works out really well. But I don't think for the average person that all this stuff is going to work out that well for them. And I don't think the infrastructure is there for it yet. Mm-hmm. But again, there's a big infatuation of I got to get in early. But I think people don't realize that, to buy all these, to manufacture a battery, you've got to go out and get the raw materials. I mean, there's just not an unlimited supply of this stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But it is pretty Wild West out there.
We got Cesar Blandino is asking what do pensions do when the 40-year bond rally ends? Aren't they mandated to hold safe government debt? Where do they go?
Pension funds are actually short the bond market right now. So short pension funds have been selling volatility to actually make, and they've been shorting the bond market to make a return. So it's going to be interesting because I think the pension funds are going to get slaughtered when bond prices rally. Where they're going to go after that, they don't have to just hold treasuries. They can hold corporates and usually you see pension funds are typically 60% equity, 40% bond. What's going to happen after this? That's a good question. I mean, are they going to need a federal bailout? And well, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of pension funds are, demanding a bailout. The question is, when the federal government says we'll give it to you, it's going to sound really good at first, and then when they find out that they're a dumping ground for U.S. Treasuries that are yielding, say, zero, and the solution for that is, hey, cut your member benefits down, people are going to realize that was a bad idea.
Austerity measures.
Yes, austerity measures. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's been happening across France and other countries where they've already. Europe is about, I think, a couple of years ahead of the U.S., and they've been cutting back austerity on pensions for, I think, the last 10 years now. And that's why they have the Gilets jaunes in France, and you got this uprising all over, uprisings. And then COVID hit, and then everything quieted down, and COVID came back. And then, again, for its second wave, I don't know what's happening in Europe right now. I got to get someone on the show from Europe to give us an update on what's happening on the ground there when it comes to that. But they are ahead of us, Steve, when it comes to austerity measures. You hear it all the time in the news.
Deflationary, by the way. Mm-hmm. To give people less income, that is deflationary.
Yeah. We got Super Dry Beef has a question, and I was going to ask you this too. Later on, I was going to ask you before you got off the show, but I'm going to ask now. It's from Super Dry Beef. He asks, can you ask Steve if he could look into the Bank of Canada data for a macro episode just for fun?
I know nothing about the foreign central bank data, so no, I would do a disservice to that. Okay. I would encourage you, Mike, if you could find someone who knows a lot about it. I know virtually nothing. I know enough to know that they have different rules. But for me to dig into the data to find all this stuff, I would probably botch it so bad that I would encourage you to bring an expert on. I would want to see that too.
Yeah, because especially, I'll probably get, I'll find someone who could do that. I was going to ask you the same thing, but that's okay. I don't want you,
It's a common question I get, and the answer is my expertise is more in terms of what the Fed does, because obviously this is where I live, and I would understand that someone in Canada who's looking at my research and says, hey, I want to know what goes on here. Well, I just don't know. I'm not the guy that knows the answer, but I understand why they would want to know, and if I was them, I would want to know too.
Okay. We got one here. I don't think anyone actually... Steve, from Heart Sweets asking, Steve, what is adrenochrome?
I have no idea.
Okay. Someone else asking, Steve, how many legs does a praying mantis have?
I don't know, 4? And where's my wife? She knows stuff like this.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question. How many do they? 6? I'm not sure.
John Henry is asking, what is Stephen's thesis?
Oh, my thesis is we're going to see a replay of the Great Financial Crisis, only worse. GFC 2.0 plus. And it should play out very similar, maybe even identically to how it did. It'll just only be far, far, far worse.
So what do you have a bunker?
No. Look, recessions are an opportunity. And people don't look at them that way because, if you've got a lot of debt and you don't have any cash, you don't have any opportunities. I knew this was going to happen years and years ago. I knew we would have another recession. Mm-hmm. So if you look at where my thesis comes from, it's like, all right, so we're going to have another recession. Well, that's obvious. That is inevitable. It's going to happen. So then the next question is, all right, well, what is the reaction going to be? Well, everybody seems to think quantitative easing does something it doesn't do, so the Fed's going to do a whole lot of that. Well, we know for a fact that it causes interest rates to go down. But we also know that people think quantitative easing is inflationary. Well, look at the market positioning. Everyone's betting on higher rates. Great, they're betting against the Fed. Good luck with that. So the Fed's going to cause the largest short squeeze in history against the bond market, cause financial conditions to go ultra tight, cause bond prices to shoot straight up,
right, and
cause risk assets to crash. Look, it's just an opportunity. I mean, that's the way I looked at it. It's like, how do I grow my wealth, grow the wealth of my clients money I manage, and this is a high probability repeat of what we saw.
Right.
And that's one of my whole thesis. Now, even on my show, we dig into the minutia too much of it, but it's just a repeat of it. And so, how do I position myself to maximize my gain, my client's gain, and do it with the least amount of risk? That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. That's a good.
Now, the next recession, I got no idea what we're going to do, but I know exactly what we're going to do this time.
Mm-hmm. Get a bunker?
No. No, and because look, I'm not bearish on the fact that the world's going to end. I mean, good things do come out of recessions. I mean, the world didn't end in 2008, and I paid off all my debt. I saved up a lot of money, and I positioned myself to capitalize on it. And so I built this whole thesis around it. It's how I manage my clients' money with it, and I think it's a pretty cool idea. And I think it has a high probability of playing out exactly as I think it does.
Okay.
And the data so far is very, very consistent with that.
Yeah, well, you're very right. You're very consistently right. I went over a lot of your older videos, and I do that a lot when I'm looking at other channels. I go to older videos and kind of backtrack what they said was, and you've been pretty much 10 out of 10 in most of your stuff. And
no, I was wrong 4 years ago. So I've been wrong 1 out of 3 years. Maybe 1.5 out of 3 years.
Okay, I didn't catch that one, so
I mean, because there are people that know that have said that Steve's an idiot, and I get that all the time. But when it comes to the world of macro investing, most macro money managers have at best a 50% hit rate. At best, It's actually less than 50%. I'm sitting at somewhere 65 to 75%, so 70% hit rate. That's actually unusually high. In fact, that means you're in the best of the best. So, there's a lot of detractors because they look at YouTube shows and they think that, hey, I got to find someone who's always right. Look, no one is ever going to be always right. And I'm openly admit I was wrong. And what did being wrong do? It caused me to do more research, more data, and become better. And it turned out the last 3 years I've rocked it. And I know that my end game on the first phase of my thesis, I'm gonna be in the top echelon of macro managers. I know how it plays out, and then from there, I think it gets a little easier because I've been working on, my phase 2 of my thesis. I know what I'm going to do there. Phase 3 is muddy water, but I built some tools to help me, and work through that. And so if I'm completely blind at that time, and I think a lot of money managers will be, I've gotten what I call my secret weapon to help me navigate that. So yeah, I've been wrong, but every macro manager is going to be wrong. I just haven't been wrong as people think I've been wrong.
I'm just going to give a round of applause for that. Soundboard, round of applause.
Thank you. And I'm not afraid to admit that I am. A lot of people think, oh, he's afraid to do that. Nah, it's not true at all. But I do appreciate you saying I'm a 10 out of 10. But in reality, I'm more like a 7 out of 10. But that's pretty darn good.
Yep. We got Anna Key from Australia. Asking, Mike, ask Steve who audits the Fed. In Australia, they have the Royal Commission that audits the Reserve Bank of Australia. So who do they have that audits the Federal Reserve?
I actually don't know exactly who does. I do know the Fed does get audited, although there is a large group of people that say that audit is not to the level that it should be. But the Fed does get audited. I just don't know. I care so little about who audits them. I don't know who it is.
Okay. Arthur is asking, Mike Martins, please ask him if interest rates will stay low for 3 years.
Yes, because interest rates go down. So this is a great thing for people to do is pull up, go to the St. Louis Fed database, the FRED database, and just pull up a chart of 10-year Treasury yields. If you don't know how to do that, go to your favorite search and type in FRED 10-year Treasury yield. And you're not asking Fred. The search engine will know you're looking for the St. Louis Fed database. Pull it up, and what you'll see is these gray recession bars. Then you'll see interest rates bottom year or two after. Why is that? It takes that long for consumers' balance sheets to repair enough where they can go out and borrow money again.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely think interest rates are going to stay down. And even if not, do I expect that central bankers will continue to do high levels of quantitative easing to keep them low when they figure out they can't create inflation? Sure, absolutely. So yeah, I do think rates will stay low.
Okay.
Now, does that mean there won't be pockets of where rates rise? No, that just means that I do believe they will be low relatively historically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good one. That was a really good answer, actually. The Fed. I haven't been on that. I haven't checked that in a good while. That brings me back to like 10 years ago.
Great. It's a great place to find data.
Someone's asking. I'm just going to see. There's some conversations in the chat at the same time.
Sure.
Mike Martins. Steve is a smart guy. Currently spoofing bond futures to go long at a lower price.
Say that again?
It says Mike Martin. Steve is a smart money currently spoofing bond futures to go long at a lower price.
Oh, is a smart money long Treasury futures? Absolutely, they are. They've been long Treasury futures. That's the thing that I don't think people understand is who is the smart money in the bond market? It's the commercial banks. And why would they want more bonds? Do we know for a fact that the Fed's going to do more QE? Oh yeah, they're going to. I mean, it's not an if, it's a when event. The economy is going to roll over. They're going to do more. Because why are they going to do more? Because in March, as far as everyone's concerned, that $1 trillion QE bomb worked. I mean, the Fed's eyes, it worked. So hey, if $1 trillion worked, well, let's do 2 or 3. Well, guess what? The commercial banks, they're going to need a massive amount of Treasury securities just to supply the Fed. Mm-hmm. And where are they going to get it from? They're getting it out of the futures market. And all these people that are massively short the futures market and think the interest rates are going up, man, they're going to get slaughtered. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're playing. It's like going to Vegas and legitimately think you're going to beat the house. Yeah, sure, you can. Mike, you and I could go down to the blackjack table and we could have a hell of a night, right? We could win. But the longer we sit at that table, over the days and weeks and months that follow, the statistical odds are we're going to lose.
Right.
And everybody's betting against the house. And who is the house? Commercial banks and the Fed. Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet against that.
Nope. Not me. Okay, Mitchell is asking, Steve, has the damage been done already to the economy where a crash is imminent in Q2 of 2020? Output decreased by 37.1% and hours worked decreased by 42.9%.
Did he really mean Q2?
Q2 2020.
Well, that's already behind us.
So I'll read it again. Steve, has the damage been done already to the economy where the crash is imminent? In Q2 of 2020, output decreased.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I now understand. Yeah, no, the damage is, we're not going to recover. Yeah, the damage has been done. There's no question. I mean, the economy literally just got ran over by a car. I mean, it was walking across the street. Yeah, I mean, it just got like, bam. I mean, it got smashed. And we came over, we stimulated it, we pumped it full of steroids and patched it up and stood it up, and it started to hobble off the road. It ain't getting very far. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, there's just way too much damage. I mean, it'd be one thing if even if the COVID thing didn't even, it was, let's just magically say, wave a wand, and it was gone. Mm-hmm. The economy is still severely damaged. The fact that it's not even going away means more businesses are going to fail, more jobs are not coming back. I mean, you've got all this massive government borrowing, and one of my favorite charts, and those who are fans of the show that are watching will know this, is I look at the labor force participation rate against the total U.S. government debt, which I invert the government debt, and it just tells you the more debt the U.S. government takes on, the fewer jobs we'll have. So not only are we losing jobs due to the pandemic, we're going to have permanent job losses due to this massive government borrowing. Yeah, no, I think you could say that Q2 was the earthquake. The aftershock's going to be way, way worse.
Man, that was a really good.
Sense.
That was yeah.
Right. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, I know everyone's super optimistic about it, but if you really just stop and take a look at it, there's 25 to 26.5 million Americans out of work. Even if we just isolated the world down to the United States, because the only thing I'm really overly familiar with, even though I know we've got viewers from all over the Commonwealth. I mean, the expectation was all these people are going to be back at work by now, and they're not. I mean, I said if we lose the summer travel season, which we did, it would set up for a really bad winter. And now the winter's going to be bad because, of course, COVID's not going away. People we're going to be told not to travel, not to do stuff anyways. But, there's a lot of businesses that make a huge amount of money, relatively speaking, in the summer months to get through the bad months. And I imagine in Canada, this is probably even more relevant because of the winter up there is so much worse than the United States, that there are businesses that literally probably make a lot of their money in a small period of time to get through the rough patch.
Yeah. Where I'm here is it's kind of mild, the winters. We have maybe 3 months of decent cold weather, and then March is spring, and we have really beautiful weather going March forward, right? So I'm very lucky being on the West Coast. If I was out in Ontario and you got the Great Lakes, woo! Yeah. We got minus 40 centigrade. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but we got that going into March and April. So you got some pretty bad, out east is a lot worse, especially Chicago and all those places where it's very windy and
yeah.
Okay, we got Low Roller Scratcher is asking, Mike Martins, ask your guest, did you see the one YouTube trending today on YouTube as Californians are leaving for good? Apparently, it's a big video.
Did I see that? No. But as a Californian, I know that to be true.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that people aren't coming here too. I mean, again, people still are coming to the state. But if you look at who's leaving, again, it's tended to be people who have jobs that they can transition to another state, or they're retirees. A lot of retirees are leaving the state, and I don't blame them. If I'm on a fixed income, I could immediately move anywhere else and probably cut my expenses, not just in terms of state income tax, but just broadly save 10%.
That's a lot.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense to consider moving.
Mm-hmm. And mathematically, it makes a lot of sense. Mitch Madden's asking, ask Stephen if massive QE and real negative interest rates are good for gold.
Yes. Well, let me think about that. QE will cause the dollar to go up. So what will happen is we'll have a lot of QE, and that will be bad for gold. And then as once they get done doing that massive, like we saw in March, this massive QE bomb, then they'll step back, because the Fed's always afraid, which is pretty dumb, that okay, well, $1 trillion of QE didn't work. Well, maybe if we do like $5 trillion, and so they're always like, okay, well, we'll step back. It's that step back phase. See, this is where I get really bullish on gold, is because you'll have this massive dollar spike, and then the Fed's going to, they're going to drop this huge QE bomb, however big it's going to be, and then they're going to step back, and then the natural thing that will happen is the dollar will ease, and there you get your bullish view for the precious metals. So falling real yields is bullish for metals, but it's going to come after a spike. Whoever asked a question, tell them to go look at a chart of real yields back in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who the name of the question came from.
Okay. It came from, hold on, I'm looking for it. I'm scrolling way up here.
That's okay. But, chart gold against real yields. And you can do this on the Fred database. And if you can't find real yields, you can always just take the 10-year, subtract the year over year on the CPI, and then chart it against gold, and you will see exactly that spike in real yields in 2008 that I think repeats. And then you see the declining real yields where you get that massive last like 2 some odd year bull market in gold, I think that's exactly what we're going to see.
My 2 cents has one last question saying, hey, Mike, one last question. Please ask Steve what the indicators to watch to know when the dollar perks and begins to drop. Will hyperinflation follow?
No, hyperinflation will not happen unless we have a change to the monetary system. That is not possible. Hyperinflation is not possible under the current laws governing the Federal Reserve. It is absolutely not possible. So, all this talk about hyperinflation, all that, I really actually I'm not interested in it that much, because it's one of those things where people ask, well, Steve, do you think this could happen? Well, the first thing that happens is we got to change the laws. And then the assumption then is, well, want Congress just to get together and then like in a couple of days? No, they're not going to just. The decision to change the laws governing the Federal Reserve to allow them to print money or to turn their liabilities into legal tender is not an overnight process, because if you hyperinflate the world's reserve currency, you're going to destroy the global monetary system, and things are going to be so bad around the world. It's worse than I can imagine. So the answer is, we're not going to see hyperinflation. Now, if we do see a spike in the dollar and then it comes down, which I believe we will we see inflation? Absolutely. Will we see higher interest rates? Yes. But still the natural trend is once that pop in interest rates is done, it will head back down, because again, the economy will be too weak. There won't be any lending growth to support those higher yields. So no, hyperinflation not going to happen without some structural change to the system. And if it does, everyone that thinks it's going to happen, wants it to happen, will wish it didn't.
That was a great.
If they don't, get someone on your show from Argentina and ask them how great hyperinflation is, because it's bad.
Well, Argentina's reset its economy 3 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah, how's that worked out for them?
Not working out.
No.
We got, what was that question? Mitchell says, Steve, what will the Fed do with all the mortgages it's buying up?
What do you mean, nothing? I mean, it's just going to sit on the balance sheet.
Okay.
And I mean, that's all they're doing with them. I mean, the only alternative is for them to do quantitative tightening and return it to the financial system. They're not going to do that in the short term. Now, maybe someday, theoretically, if we have high enough inflation, they will. But the reality, all the Fed's going to do with the mortgages is they're going to set them on their balance sheet, and then they're going to reinvest the coupons, which is what they're doing now.
So Dion Williams is saying, again, a great interview with Jeff Snyder on Real Vision. Were you on that?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's Dion Williams here. And what else we got? I got tons.
Yeah, I thought Jeff was great. That was hopefully that interview should go public. I don't know when, but at some point. And I really thought it was great. I enjoyed it, and I know Jeff really answered a lot of questions that I had, and a lot of my viewers had. So I thought it was wonderful.
We got someone's asking about Ronin Capital. Not sure what that is.
I don't know anything about that.
Their daughters. No, I'm just going into comments here. Shane O'Connell for Dublin has a Skype question saying, are the local governments buying back enough debt fast enough?
Local governments aren't buying debt.
Okay, so he probably maybe asked that wrong.
Yeah.
Or is the Fed maybe buying back enough debt fast enough?
Oh, is the Fed buying enough debt fast enough?
I think that's what he meant, because he says, Is
the Fed doing enough QE? No, they're not. They will do more, and it won't make a difference, but they will do more.
Wow. Okay, that's for Shane O'Connell in Dublin. We got Lisa 122 in Tasmania, Australia. She says, it looks like the markets in the USA are banking on Biden win. What do you think about the overall economy with a Biden win?
I don't think the markets are banking on a Biden win. I think people are interpreting the markets to mean that. The U.S. stock market is a computer-controlled, computer algorithm momentum market. There's so much money that is traded purely based on momentum the U.S. market could care less if I was president or Mike if you were president, because it's all looking at the trend. There's just trillions and trillions of dollars that are all in these momentum strategies. It's like, if moving averages up, yes, buy. I mean, it just pretty much doesn't care. So the whole notion that the market, quote unquote, is pricing anything is, give me back human traders and I'll answer the question. But I want to say more than 50% of the market is computer traded. No possible. And I think it's much higher than that, actually. So I don't think the markets are really pricing in anything. I think the markets in the U.S. are stupid because, again, it's all a momentum trade. Higher prices beget higher prices. What was the second part of her question?
Was basically this. No. This is Biden win will think. What do you think about the overall economy with a Biden win? So basically, the markets are interpreting. You said they're interpreting a Biden win.
Yeah, I don't think it makes any difference. I think, and again, this comes back to my view that presidents don't make the economy. I mean, the economy is just way too big, but everyone wants to base it on one person. The reality is we are long over. I mean, we're probably in a recession. So the notion that, okay, so I'd push back and ask the question then is, so what is it that Biden's got that Trump can't do? Mm-hmm. What is so special that he has that no other president in history has ever had that he's going to come in and do that is magically going to make what is going to be a horrendous debt collapse of a recession turn into something better, turn into roses? And the answer is nobody has that.
Ain't gonna fly. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, who you put in there.
Is do more stimulus, do more QE, and guess what? It doesn't work. It can work in the short term, but overall, the more debt, and we've seen this again, as you mentioned earlier, Mike, in a question about Japan. Mm-hmm. Look at Japan's a perfect example. If all this stuff worked, then Japan should have just absurd rates of inflation. Their economy should be booming, and anyone watching from Japan shaking their head going, yeah, the economy here isn't that great.
We actually have quite a few people watching from Japan tonight, actually. We have a restream. Someone's restreaming this transmission on one of the Japanese restream platforms there for us. I actually asked him earlier today, and he's restreaming that. So hopefully it's being shown out there, because every country has their own kind of like YouTube. Like Brazil has their own, but people still come to YouTube as a whole. But there's a lot of countries breaking out, and they're restreaming and multi-streaming on different platforms. So we got Eddie Monaco is in Johannesburg. He's asking, do you see another round of stimulus before the election? By the way, I see a Biden victory as a bigger hindrance on the U.S. economy.
I do not, and I have been very clear, I do not think we'll see a stimulus before the election. We have effectively 1 week to get it done. I don't think either party is going to cross the line, and even then, we've been hearing from the Senate that they're not likely to support it. So no, I have said we won't, and the problem is we will see one after the election. The question always becomes what will be after the election? Will it be in November? I don't think so. I think it's more likely closer to February.
We got Laurel or Scratcher asking again, would your guest ever consider moving to Mexico and still work in California? It will be a lot cheaper than living in the United States.
No, I'm pretty set on likely going to Florida.
Florida's good.
Well, here's the thing, Mike. I want to be near the happiest place on earth, so when I have a bad day, I can go be happy.
You go on the teacup ride.
Right?
The children's teacup ride that goes like this,
Yeah, my wife wants to go on Tinkerbell every day. So, hey, there you go.
Mm-hmm. We got Sniper Dog Grufo is asking, Mike Martins, ask Stephen, are central banks more harmful than helpful?
Yes. I mean, look, we're told that we need central bankers, and look what they've done. Everything they touch, they're not like Midas. They're the opposite of Midas. Everything they turn, it turns to garbage. Mm-hmm. The United States, there was a time in the world that we didn't have central bankers. And not every country we didn't. And the world worked. In the United States, we had periods where we didn't have central bankers. And guess what? It was fine. But we're told we need them. And if not, there would be utter chaos. And the reality is we have more problems with them than we would without them.
Matthew from Melbourne, Australia, from the state of Victoria, is asking Mike Martin's his opinion on the incoming digital dollar.
I think we already have a digital dollar. I mean, when I log into my bank account, I see digital dollars. So I have trouble with this whole notion that we're going to have a second currency. Look, there's a lot of bills that are sitting on Congress right now. And in history, there are always a lot of bills that go to Congress. It doesn't mean they actually get passed.
Mm-hmm.
So far there's bills there doesn't mean anything. I mean, but the notion that we're going to have a digital dollar when I already have digital dollars, to me it does. I don't know where all this is going, and I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that the question is bad. I'm just trying to figure out what all the point of all these bills are when we already have something that does that. So I don't really know what the agenda is, but I don't see anything. I don't expect these bills to go anywhere.
Okay. From Nitros 4 is saying, Mike Martins, when the dollar picks back up, will that crash emerging markets?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it.
I see the Brazilian real taking a massive hit. And the Argentinian peso taking a enormous hit. And you got to remember, over 300 million people live in South America. That's going to be a huge.
Well, yeah, and the other factor is, with the dollar as a reserve currency, you have tens of trillions of dollars in foreign denominated dollar debt. So you're going to have these foreign countries that need dollars, and what are they going to do to get them? They're going to print currency to swap for dollars, which is just only going to make the situation worse. So yeah, absolutely, I expect it to be a massive negative for emerging markets.
So we got Lord Humongous, who comments a lot on the channel and comes on the show quite a bit, says all fiats return to zero.
Someday.
That should be the cover of your next book, Stephen. All fiats return.
I'm pretty sure somebody's already written that book.
Come on. Do you got a book
and I've
in mind?
never written a book, so. But yeah, I mean, eventually they all will. That's always the game: is how long can you make them last? But yeah, there's absolutely right. They'll all return to zero.
Are you ever planning on writing? I mean, you're so extremely knowledgeable, and would you ever plan on maybe putting something together?
I have not planned on that right now. No. Okay. I mean, maybe someday. I don't want to say that I never will. I just don't know what I would write about that people would actually want to read.
Because I just want you could get some audio speech recognition thing, say what you have to say, and it writes it out on the screen, and boom, you could write a book in 3 hours.
I don't know what people would want. I'm surprised people even go to my YouTube channel. I didn't know people would find that interesting. So I don't know what if I wrote a book. I don't know what I would write about that people would find interesting.
Well, what we've been talking about here, I mean, there's some really good points that were brought up here by our the live stream here and questions. A lot of questions flowing through here. We almost have 400 people watching. And
that's because you're a big star, Mike.
Well, no. Seeing that other channel like CNN, I don't want to pick on CNN all the time, but they got 3 million subscribers and it's like 43 people watching. So it's like,
well, I know, man. What do you get?
Okay.
They don't have the cool jacket that you do. I need to get me one of those. There you go.
See, this T-shirt here is on the Mike in the Night. It's on the Mike Martin's Teespring store.
Oh, is it? I might have to give me one of those.
It actually says Mike on the Night in the back.
Oh, does it really?
It does, yeah, and it says it actually here on the bottom here with you on the bottom of the shirt. It says Mike in the Night.
But you can't get the cool coat with it though.
Oh, this jacket is very special to me. This is a very special jacket.
Can't get that though.
It's a very special jacket. It was made for a purpose. It was made to go in the junk, and I just said, I'll just buy that, and I did.
I dig the jacket, man.
That's the Mike in the Night kind of thing. I'm gonna, when I go to stateside or visit, I'm gonna dress like this, and I'm gonna wear my plaid pants with this jacket and walk around.
Dude, man, you're mad. Woohoo!
Yeah. Oh, and the glasses. Don't forget these.
No, that is the deal right there, man. You put the glasses on, that's the complete look.
Yeah. I think I'll be patted down. They won't even put me through the metal. Pat this guy down now.
Yeah.
So Alan Howick asks, has your guest talked about Bitcoin? Yes, he has. We covered pretty much, I think we covered pretty much. We went from currency to bonds, back to stocks, back to bonds. Then we went to crypto. Then we went back to debt. And then we went back to Australia. Then we went back to Argentina. Then we went back all the way across.
I know a lot of serious questions. I'm surprised we didn't get any weird questions.
Well, somebody asked how many legs a praying mantis had.
Yeah, I didn't know the answer.
Yeah. So we got Arthur saying, thanks, Steven. This is the best show ever.
Thanks, Arthur.
And then we got somebody else here on the other chat. I got another chat going, but it's like in Russian, and I can't read it. From another platform. It's been streaming there every time, and I haven't.
They're like, why won't you answer our questions?
No, they know that already. They know they're talking between each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all talking between each other because there's one guy named Sergey, who's monitoring. He's working in a monitoring station in Antarctica.
Oh wow!
And he actually watches the Mike in the Night.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm surprised he hasn't sent a message because he always does. Always sends messages on Mike in the Night when he's in Antarctica. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and yeah. So we've had you, dude. This is probably your longest, an hour and 36 minutes.
That's pretty much a record.
Whoa! See what a good whiskey or top shelf beer could do when you're talking. Yeah. You could just talk all night, man.
Well, the battery on my laptop doesn't talk all night, so we'll see.
Okay. What would happen if the U.S. dollar, if China began to issue new gold-backed currency, cryptocurrency, to rival the U.S. dollar as a world reserve currency? That was asked before on a couple of other shows. So China is working on something, and China has been buying gold, and so has Russia.
Yeah. So who cares? Okay. So what's the real question we're asking here? Is China trying to replace the dollar as the world's reserve currency? And the answer is they're not trying to do it. They don't want to do that. What they're saying, and what we're seeing around the world, is people are saying, look, the current system is not working. Mm-hmm. We know it doesn't work, and we need something else, but nobody knows what that other thing is. But I can guarantee you, China does not want to be the world's reserve currency. It's a really simple explanation. Is what is China? They're a purpose-built exporting nation. They've got a very large population that is poor that they're trying to bring into effectively the modern world. And in order to be a world's reserve currency, well, aside from the fact that nobody would trust China to handle that anyways, even if it is gold backed. So let's get past that. China has to be a net importer.
Right.
That's not going to happen, and trust me, they don't want it. All they're saying is, look, the current dollar-based system isn't working. Now, if it was working fine, they wouldn't have a problem with it. The issue we have here is it's not working. It hasn't been working. No one wants to admit it, and no one wants to put their collective heads together and say, okay, it's not working. We need something better. So yeah, they put together something so they and Russia can do some trading. Big deal.
Anne is saying, your YouTube channel is great. You are a great teacher, and you are so funny. I enjoy it a lot. Thank you.
Well, Anna, I appreciate you being a fan, and that means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you plugged me on your last video. I saw that.
Dude, how can I not?
You said, I'm going to be having drinks. Mike will be buying drinks and cocktails on Mike in the Night.
And appetizers. I was very clear about appetizers.
Are we talking Costco appetizers, or are we talking like that really like shrimp and really expensive stuff?
I don't know. I thought we were going to go to some sleazy bar, yeah. And have beers and shots and greasy appetizers. That's what I thought we were going to do.
Steven Sewell just sent me $10. I think he sent me $10 twice tonight. Great show tonight, Mike. Thank you, Steve Van Meter, for various topics and discussion. So I'm going to use that $10 and the other $10 that was sent to me. That should get me to downtown Detroit.
Woo!
Woo!
Why do you want to go there?
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I remember.
Is that the gimmick? Send Mike money, he'll go somewhere. I love it.
I remember when my car broke down. No, it didn't break down. I was running out of gas in Detroit when I crossed the border, and I was on my way to Florida. It's a long story. So I went to the gas station, and the first gas station off the first ramp, and there was a bunch of people in there, just people, like random people asking for money, and it was really weird. Some guy came up to me and says, "Dude, I just got out of jail, man. I'm gonna borrow $1. I need $1, man. I just got out of jail." And it was like, get me in my car and get me down to Florida.
Yeah.
I filled up and I didn't get out of the car till I think past Cincinnati. I think I was way past Cincinnati. That gas took me from Detroit past Cincinnati. I think I had to fill up somewhere in Kentucky or somewhere.
Oh man, you should have stopped in Cincinnati. Got you some chili.
Yeah. You're looking tired, buddy.
I know, it's been a long day for me. You got any more questions?
Let me see here. No, we got a lot of people talking about someone just arrived back from Seattle.
Or maybe those 3 cocktails I've been drinking during the show are catching up to me.
Nations will decide to exchange it for purchase. Okay, gold will break the dollar hegemony when nations around the world decide to exchange it for purchasing commodities. Guys, I'm sorry when I'm reading this and I break up when I'm reading it. It's because it's moving at the same time I'm trying to read it, and it's moving up.
No, gold is not going to be it's not going to replace the dollar. Something else will, but it won't be. It might have gold in it, but gold is not going to break the dollar hegemony. Not going to happen.
Dion Williams is asking, Steve, can you give some bullet points on why you think current global reserve currency system is so inefficient?
Well, it just isn't working. I mean, look at the fact that, I don't have a list. Sorry, I apologize. I don't have bullet points, but I'll just say this: it doesn't work. It's not working. I mean, if it was working, I wouldn't be on Mike and I talking about it. Mm-hmm. We'd be talking about something else. I might not even have a YouTube channel. I mean, that's the problem is we're talking about something that shouldn't be talked about because it should just work. But the fact that we're talking about it is telling us that the system isn't working. I mean, when you really, I think that's the key is sometimes we get into the weeds on this thing and we have to step back and, you got to remember when I was younger, no one cared when there was a Federal Reserve press conference. No one listened to the things. Now the world freaking stops when Powell does his press conference, not every month, but whenever they have the Fed press conferences, because they need to know what's going on. It's telling us is the system isn't working. Now, can we dig into it and find out exactly why it's not working? Well, there's lots of reasons why it doesn't working. Who cares why it's not working? When your car was out of gas, you didn't ask why. The solution was put gas in it.
That's right.
So the system isn't working. The problem is it was never designed to work in this modern world. It needs to be overhauled and updated. The problem is no one wants to actually talk about it. Mm-hmm. So what are we doing? We're all talking about it because we're saying, hey, the system's work. It's not working. The answer is no one's listening to the point where they're trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And what will it take to fix it? Unfortunately, it will have to take a catastrophic event where people realize that quantitative easing doesn't do all these mythical things that people have assigned its ability to, raising stock prices and house prices and all the other things that they believe it does, before people are willing to get together and say, okay, hey, that isn't working. Let's start to change it.
Okay, so we got that was actually a really good answer. John F. Kennedy couldn't have said that better.
Probably because back when he was president, no one really cared about monetary policy. Wasn't really something you need to worry about. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the issue is suddenly we all care about the intricacies of what quantitative easing is. We shouldn't have to worry about it. If monetary policy worked, we wouldn't have to care. But it's not working, so we're trying to figure out all the problems with it. And the more you dig into it, the more you realize, the whole system is broken. And it's not just in the United States, it's all around the world because we're all using effectively derivatives of the same system.
Okay. We got Anthony, was it Corleone here? What did he say? Is your guest investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency?
No, I do not and have never owned any cryptocurrencies. I have largely avoided it, partially due to the fact that I don't really understand it as
Right.
well as I know many of your guests do. And I have a view of if you don't understand something, you shouldn't really invest in it. The second reason is due to my licenses. In fact, I talked to my partner, who he and I own a securities firm together. In fact, I asked him last week. I'm like, what are the rules about me owning that? Is it because? And he goes, I'm not sure. I opened up an account, but I didn't buy any because I realized that that's his job in our firm is to know the legal issues. He's like, yeah, I should probably find out what the rules are because I don't know. So it could be I'm also maybe prohibited from buying it, or I have to follow special rules. So not knowing and not wanting to get in trouble is a second reason I just have not bothered to buy it. Although, from my perspective, is I don't know why the securities law would care if I owned euros or Australian dollars or Canadian dollars, but maybe they care if I own crypto. I have no idea.
Yeah, because they were giving people a really tough time. I think it was the IRS was giving people a time when they got audited, and they were just taking people's money away and stuff. That was back a few years back when a year and a half or 2 years when crypto went to 20 large. I don't know if
yeah, because people were not reporting their capital gains.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was just they just took it away because they felt like it.
No. The IRS didn't have a problem with it. The IRS says, look, you made a capital gain. And the IRS was pissed that the crypto exchanges weren't reporting, were reporting 1099s. And they're like, look, the fact is you bought this stuff. It's an investment of some sort. You made a gain and you didn't pay taxes on it. And that's all they wanted.
Dion Williams has another question for you. He says, Steve, would you expect to see the first signs of a crash starting in emerging markets? I have been watching videos of Brent Johnson, who thinks it would be EM countries falling like dominoes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see the problem will start when you see Treasury bonds really make their final move up, and I think they're pretty close to doing that after their pullback over the last, say, 2 weeks. And then the dollar will start to rise, and then emerging markets will crumble. I mean, yeah, the dominoes will fall, but I look at the Treasury market as where I see it starting.
Okay, Treasury. Okay,
but Brent Johnson could be right too. I mean, I'm not saying that it could be a simultaneous event. I mean, he's a super smart guy, and he's a friend of mine, and it's possible the catalyst could be there. I tend to look at Treasuries first.
Okay, because I'm seeing in a more international market. I honestly see South America getting hit really hard, real fast in the next couple of weeks. I see, and then I see after South America, I could see Europe following, and then Eurasia, like the more like that side. I'm just kind of seeing the dominoes. Like for the longest time, I've been wrong. I was saying that if any market was going to go down first, I always thought it was the Australian market was going to go first before any other in the Commonwealth, and I was wrong. It looks like Canada with the government budget sheet of purchases and debt and all the stuff just threw me for a curveball today when I saw that today. I couldn't believe that, and it went up 431% in like 2 months.
Wow.
That's incredible. I've never seen anything like that. And a lot of people I've been showing this to, it's on Bloomberg, just can't make heads or tails of it. That's a lot of spending for government. I mean, and they're never going to make that back.
Well, no, of course not. But yeah, I come back to Treasury. So I look at what happened the last, say, week and a half, and yields went up. Everyone got excited. And what does that tell you? It tells you that potentially financial conditions are easing. But what did the credit data tell us? Well, we saw the August data that I covered on my show, I think on Wednesday or Thursday, showed that there's actually a broad contraction.
I saw that.
Which is very unusual. You shouldn't. So what is that? It's already telling us the economy is rolling over. And then we see in the weekly H.8 data that, we're sitting at contraction. We're in contraction, not almost across the board, but close to it. So to me, the Treasury bond market, if it starts to rally, which I expect it will, off of the this recent low, that's really where we see the beginning of it.
We got Dion Williams asking, why do you think it would be Australia first, Mike? Well, because the debt to GDP level for household families is over 200%, and I think Switzerland is the next one after, and I think it's Canada after that. And I thought Australia would be first because of the cost of real estate is just horrendous, and too much foreign investing, too much speculating, there's just too much happening in Australia. Their waterworks systems is all privatized. A lot of their mining in Perth is owned by foreign entities. They're rolling out the 5G, and they're rolling out the social credit scores in Darwin, Australia. I've been following Australia, and for many years, I thought it would be the first domino in the Commonwealth to fall, but it looks like from that sheet that we saw today that I posted on the community section on the channel puts Canada in first place, and yeah, that's my answer to Dion Williams. And let's see if we got it. Looks like I don't want you to fall asleep here. If you want to go, if you got to go, we can go, because it's been 2 hours, and
I know that's a lot from me.
Yeah,
and yeah, she even the glasses are falling off, so she's getting a little tired out too.
Yeah. I know you pulled an all-nighter the night before, and you've been working all day today, and you took so much time out of your busy schedule to come on with us. It really means a lot to us here on this channel that you came, and showed some love and support. It really means a lot.
Well, Mike, like I said, you're a big fan of my show. I'm a big fan of yours. All I know is someday I want to wear that coat, even if for a minute. I'm gonna wear the coat.
Yeah, you will. I'll just get it. I could get it sent out and copied. I know someone that could copy it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can have my own. I just want to wear the coat.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, buddy. Any last words, Steven?
I just appreciate you. Appreciate all your fans. Thank you for the love. And for those looking for macro, come check me out, and where we talk macro, and like I said, try to make sense of markets that just really don't make any sense. But that's what macro is, trying to figure out the big picture.
Okay, Steven, thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
All right. Look forward to the next time, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys, that is Steven Van Metre. And man, it is so. Oh yeah. It's always so good to have a guest on the show that can answer our questions on Mike in the Night. It's really good to have that. Oh yeah. Okay, let's plug them. Let's do a channel plug here before we get our next caller in. I think we're supposed to get in somebody, but you know what? There's somebody that wants to come on the channel who's pretty upset. Not upset at me. Is upset with the whole Sydney, Australia mass exodus. They are very upset with the tens of thousands of people that are leaving the Sydney, New South Wales area, and just mass leaving. You know what I'm saying? And he's so upset about it. None of his high school friends live in the city anymore. It's become foreign to him. So I want to get the Raven on because he put up a video. I want to keep it as kosher as possible. So Aniki saying, what a great guest. Woo! Mike Steven has been absolutely a hoot. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mitch. Thanks, Mike. Great show. I know very difficult right now. Okay, so that's something else. I'm not impressed by Brent Johnson either. I don't know who that is. I'm upset about Covey. Comments are going full blast here. So Dion Williams, Dion, if you ever want to go to my channel and you get a little bit of time, you might want to just type in your country name. If you go to Dion, if you ever go to my channel, let's do a quick plug here real quick for everybody here. Okay, there it is, the channel. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Guys, next week we have Randy Patrick for Trends in the Housing Market on Wednesday. He's going to give us a little showdown on what's going down out east, southeast, so you might want to tune in, especially if you're in the Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia area. Then we got trends in the housing market on the 21st of October with Jeb Smith and Michael Invests from Australia. That's going to be a really good one to have them both on the show. We're going to have Jeb first. He's in California. And then we're going to have Michael on the second hour to give us a fiat currency rundown in Australia and what is happening there in Australia. So there it is. Trends in the housing market with Mr. Patrick here. Randy Patrick, guys. Don't forget Wednesday night. I'm going to give you the link here. And guys, trends in the housing market the weekend after. I got no major guest on for Mike in the Night next week. I'll promise I could find somebody if I could get somebody to come on the show. Guys, don't forget to pick up the Dirt Bike t-shirt. There it is there. The Mike Martin's channel Dirt Bike t-shirt. It's really nice. I already sold 3 of them this week. So if you guys want to pick one up, it's really nice. It's an all-over t-shirt. It's a little pricey. I mean, all-over t-shirts are really pricey. But if you want to get the new Dirt Bike t-shirt, it's really good. You could wear it with any jacket over it like this. Those colorful shirts. Also, guys, there's my Facebook. I want to get to 120,000 fans on this. Just to make Facebook upset. I'm at 115,421. And I want to get to 120,000. I'm really close, too. So I got it's doing okay. Got 67 subscribers today, or 67 fans today. Guys, don't forget to send me the show tips here. If you guys got show tips, don't forget to send them on Instagram. And the Stephen Van Meter channel. So respectfully, everybody, go over there, subscribe, be part of the channel. I'm going to give you a link if you guys want to go there. And please subscribe to the channel. Here he is. And he's got a lot of good videos. That's his video from a day ago. And he plugged Mike in the Night. Look at this crown. He wears that crown in a lot of his videos. The Bond King. Hashtag Bond King. And don't forget to check out this video. Gold Investors. This is a must-watch video. You must watch this video, guys. I ain't playing with you. I ain't wasting you. This is the best 4 minutes and 41 seconds of your life on this. So if you're a gold investor, I really recommend that you watch this video. There it is. I really recommend that. Please, Lord Humongous is asking if I'm going to make a Lord Humongous hoodie. Why not? Matt Askey saying, I'd buy the Dirt Bike t-shirt, but then I had to grow a mullet. Oh, come on. Mike, you should get on TikTok. I don't even know what that is, man. I think it's that thing where people dance on. I'm not going to go on. I don't even think that's my thing. I think I'm too old for TikTok. I think 35 is the cutoff age. 35 is the cutoff age for TikTok, by the way. I'm just going to lay the law down here tonight on Mike in the Night. Woo! Wow. I gotta take off my jacket, man. Oh, let me take off my jacket here, guys. All right. We got quite a few people watching still. We got over 300 people watching. Asmodia 2011 saying we need foreign countries to be based on nations' gold holdings and its GDP. Gold is the one world money. All nations need to get rid of the world reserve garbage and start using gold to trade. Yeah, gold is trade. Gold is money, right? And we had Mineko64 on the other day. If you haven't seen the Mineko64 video, he was on last week on Mike in the Night, and he explained that to us and kind of broke it down from that angle, and it was really, really good breakdown he had there. Mike, audits are dancing on what? Adults are dancing on. I thought it said audits. I'm so used to, yeah. That jacket is pretty sweet. I know, man. That jacket was set to burn. And I go, you're not. No, I want that jacket. I'll buy it. Mike, you don't have to dance on TikTok. You can make a housing crisis video on TikTok. Mike Martins. Someone's asking, Raven, you serious about Bitcoin or just joking? He's buying. All right, let's get the Raven on and find out what the heck he's up to. Because last I heard, the police was searching his car last I called him. So let's see what happened with that. Let's get the Raven on the phone here. Come on, pick up. He didn't pick it up. He's not picking up. I hope he's okay. We got Steven Van Metre on for 2 hours. Now that's a legendary guest. I'm gonna make an independent video on that. Total legendary guest. Okay, who do we got here? Who could we bother today? Who could we just randomly call today? Let me call this Tommy guy. No pickup. That's Haystacks Tommy. He wants to hit Stacks Tommy. Was kind of upset earlier with me on, not about me. He's just upset with the situation. With the situation right now in Australia, and he's pretty. I wanted to get him on and see. He's upset that all his high school friends, everybody he grew up with, is gone. Nobody around anymore, and he's having a tough time dealing. Like when when I grew up in Toronto in high school and grade school and all that stuff in Toronto, in the province of Ontario, Canada, when I went back to Toronto to visit my grandma, everyone that went to my high school doesn't live in Toronto anymore. They don't even live in Mississauga or the surrounding cities. They live like 100 miles out away from the capital, like from Toronto. So Anthony's saying they're looking for that cold wallet. Mike is saying, Mike, okay, here's the Raven. Hey, I've been trying to reach you. You're a lot tougher to get than the president.
You know what? My phone never rang.
Really? I was ringing.
Lenny Pooh messaged me and said, Mike's calling you.
Really?
Lenny Pooh's birthday, by the way.
Lenny Pooh's what? Sorry?
Lenny Pooh's birthday on the 7th.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday. Is she 24?
I better answer this right.
25?
She's 29. She's 29.
29. Anthony Ruvalacaba just sent me $5. That's a total of $25 in Super Chat. That's enough fuel. I think that's enough gas to get me to Tacoma, Washington.
Hey, Mike, can I say something?
Of course you could say something. That's why you're here.
I was messaging a couple people there, and it takes so long to explain. I can't remember what said. I said Trump would win. Well, I said Trump was selected for a second term. But you know what? There's a lot of moving parts here, man. I'm looking at that mail-in ballots. There's going to be a lot of confusion there, and that's all by design. That is all by design with these guys. They're not going to give up their presidency. Trump's not going to back down. He won't concede, and neither will Biden. They've been told if there's no president, Pelosi becomes president on January 20th. So this goes all into all different aspects that I don't even want to go in, packing the court and maybe running it up to 13 Supreme justices instead of 9 and stuff like that. But I believe the mail-in ballots, those are done. That's an agenda. You're going to see complete confusion. And with the Proud Boys going against Antifa, we've already picked our teams. Yeah, because we got no sports, right? We picked our teams, mask against no mask. That's the team I'm on. I'm going after the people who wear the masks. Whatever team you're on, I don't know, black versus white. Or is it vaccines? What team are you on? We've agitated the planet. The mail-in ballots, I believe, is going to be the kickoff to get this stuff going. You're going to see within the next 90 days, I think this is going to come down. I think this is going to be very bad. I just think that in the next 90 days, I'm wondering, why am I even going to work? I'm so sure something's going to happen in the next 90 days. I'm thinking, why am I even going to work? Mm-hmm. Shouldn't I be like preparing for something or moving somewhere? Hiding somewhere?
That's why I was asking Steven when he was on the show if he had a bunker or what he was up to, or
You know what? If it's a weird thing, I have a little bit of OCD. I overdose on the news, all different aspects, all channels. I'm looking everywhere, man. All channels. I'm watching crypto channels. There's a good guy on there. He covers a lot about the Federal Reserve and the IMF, and he talks a lot about XRP. I don't watch that stuff, but I do just to see what's going on there, right? Mm-hmm. Overdose on all these channels. They got swine flu in Germany.
Yeah.
Well, they're culling the pigs in Germany now. Now they're not sending the pigs to China. We already know they culled the pigs in China, 100 million last year, right? Mm-hmm. The conditioning for this was not COVID. The conditioning started in 2018 with the Trump trade war. That was the conditioning. 2018, 8,500 businesses in the United States shut down. 2019, 12,500 businesses in the United States shut down. Hundreds of thousands, millions of layoffs across the world. Predictive programming, seeing people lose their jobs, businesses shut down, get them ready, because too hard of a shock to a human rattles their cage. Hitler told us, take it piece by piece. Don't take too big of a piece.
Well, Hitler made a mistake and invaded Russia in the winter. That was the biggest mistake. That biggest piece he ever did, Operation Barbarossa.
The worst thing he did for himself was kick the bankers out of his country, because that's what set it all off. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was the best thing he could do for his country. The worst thing he could do for himself in the end, is that's what all his problem was. But and he did make them prosperous, But like I said, the trade war was the beginning of the conditioning for the humans. Okay, that's our conditioning. Was the trade war. Mm-hmm. Roll into 2019, start hitting out the food sources. The pigs, the corn. Now we got the locusts, can't stop them because we can't get the pesticides across the border. The cod fishing, you see it all around the world. Everybody here knows what's going on there. Tyson Foods, the production, the migrant workers. You don't think that their analysts didn't architect that before they did this? Come on. We're well past figuring all that stuff out. They did this. Everybody here knows food shortages are coming. Mm-hmm. So they started with the trade wars, conditioned us, moved us into what they move us into. Secretly, they started knocking out the food sources. Then, as someone said in the room, the repo market, September 16th last year, spiked 2% to 10%. The Fed had to step in, liquefy the repo for 5 months. They said, it was just because I think maybe Anthony knows the answer, but it was taxes and treasury bills coming due one day, and we just ran out low on funds. Yeah, that's BS. Those banks saw something happening, and I believe what they saw happening is happening in Europe right now, because the banking stocks in Europe are as low as they were in 1988.
Oh, Europe right now, you have a good portion of Europe that's in negative rates. We saw the people lose confidence in their governments in Cyprus, and we saw that runoff a few years, almost a decade ago, where people were going and pulling cash out, and then they started restricting how much money people could take out of bank accounts in Greece. We saw it happening in parts of Europe, and they kind of put out those bushfires by just borrowing from the World Bank more and more and more, and basically that's gotten them this far. But then, like we were talking with Steven, as the austerity measures started kicking in, and that's when they started cutting pensions, cutting people's ability to eat food. Raven, you keep talking of a food shortage, but there's another way to have a food shortage. If you don't have money, you can't buy food. That's another way of having a food shortage.
Every time gold goes up $100, 10 million people are sourced out of food in North America, right? The currencies are devaluing. Our groceries in Canada went up a third this year.
Dude,
our currencies are devaluing. You told me Portugal does this, but why are these countries not showing people how to grow food? We want you on the other side of the grass. That's where you're going.
My friend lives in central Portugal, And if you actually, there's this thing he showed me. He actually took a picture on Skype and showed me that you could order seeds from the government if you don't have any.
That's when you told me that, that's the first time I ever heard of any place, and I'm scanning articles across news feeds all around everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scanning them all, and I that's the first I heard of that.
Oh, want to hear
is.
another first from
That's
Portugal?
cool. Like,
Portugal was the first country to go 5 days off grid with no energy from the rest of Europe, and it went completely off grid with solar and wind power and ocean power, like with the waves. The first country, and it beat Germany's 4 hours off grid. Portugal went 5 days.
Okay, look. So we got the suspicious seeds they're sending. We got Walgreens in the States banning seeds. We got Monsanto's making corn that makes you sterile. I study the seeds all the way around. I see all the stories. There's no stories about countries saying, "Here's your seeds. Go grow food. We want you to be healthy. We want you to supplement your income because we know your currency's collapsing." They don't care about us. We're going. They're shutting the system down, and we're going. I don't really want to frighten people. It doesn't frighten me, but my girlfriend says, "You're kind of frightening people." Sorry if I don't mean to frighten anyone. I'm just calling it the way I see it. But the banking sector in Europe, I was saying, hey, look at 2 weeks ago. What were we shipping across the country? Look at those trucks we're shipping. Those are going to the UK. Why are they sending military right from here? We're sending it all back there. And that stuff was quick, man. It was in our yard for an hour or two, gone. That's a fast turnover. Poof, gone. I think Brexit's causing them problems. I think they're having a lot of problems there. We've got collapsing currencies everywhere. You could name 1,000 things that are happening right now. Look at November last year. I told you, I said in November, hey, trucks are going to stop, trains are going to stop, and stores are going to close. You can go back. It's your video with the moon or whatever. Mm-hmm. And food is going to run out. It's happening. No,
yeah, we've been talking about again. So
we've been talking about the digital currencies. Look how fast they're pushing the digital currencies now. Mm-hmm. ECB, Bank of Japan, they're all together on it now. Mark Carney last year stood up and went at what was it, Jackson Hole when he retired? He said, Bank of England, he goes, I think maybe we should, he just said, I'm going to say it. I think we should go digital currencies. Whoa, somebody finally said it. Look at it now, a year later. It's everywhere. That's how quick the reset's coming. It'll go in tandem with the digital currencies. And they're pushing that digital dollar. And they're going to say, oh, no stimulus, mm-hmm. Because they're going to beg. But if we go digital dollar, we could get it to you quick. We could get it to you. We haven't given you $1,200 in 4 months. I don't know what they're eating. And then again, if you want to pull the plug around the election, why would you give people $1,200 before so they could pack their pantries? Fighting people hungry are a lot more effective than fighting people who are full.
That's a quote that Arnold Schwarzenegger told me. He said, Mike, the wolf climbing the mountain is a lot hungrier than the wolf that's on top of that mountain.
Yeah, well, it's all people like the Fed. They say the Fed always makes a mistake. The Fed always screws. The Fed is exact in every movement they make. Everything they've ever done is being precise to what they want to do. It's all part of the plan, man. It's all, look at the whole thing, how it all lines up. And now we have those camps they want to build. What's that Ontario MP saying? You want to build isolation camps?
Yeah, you sent me the link. My phone blew up this morning. I got, several hundred like almost 400. I'm not joking. Emails. I got Skype messages, yes, and then I got more, like a lot of show tips over on the Instagram. People,
what? When I call, I wasn't really looking to talk or anything. I just wanted you to look because I knew if you could see, maybe you'll see that article. That's all I wanted you to see. I was busy actually. I just called and hung up so you would look at it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right? I saw it. A lot of people were coming or messaging me about that. And I said, okay, I got to make a video, but it can't be a fear-mongering. It's got to be like, they've had these camps in the U.S., and they've had the manuals on how to this and that. And during the Obama one, Clinton, towards the tail end of the Clinton administration, this started to pop up.
You know what? Shut the world down so we don't overflow the hospitals. BS. Build FEMA camps for people who are traveling. BS. It's... We all see it. They can cover it, say whatever they want. We know what it is. And they use these pathetic excuses, It's just pathetic. Yeah. I just, and 36,000 canisters of tear gas getting shipped to Saskatchewan. What are you going to do with those?
That's a lot of tear gas. Maybe they're going to use it like for maybe like a big rave party and kind of.
No, there's going to be no parties, Mike.
No parties?
No, I think they're agitating the world with all the stuff that we've seen go on with the riots and all that. Australia was picked. They were a penal colony, easily acceptable for us to see them be a penal colony again. Now it's moving, like you said, into the UK. And now Boris Johnson's talking more about freedom passes. You get tested every day. You get a freedom pass. No. You're gonna wake up and your alarm clock's gonna talk to you. Hello, good morning, Mike. You are a free global citizen today. You may exit your property and purchase some food with your credits that the government is. That shit's all coming. Yeah, that pisses me off. It really does.
It's pretty. It hurts. I hear it in your voice. I hear the strain in your voice with this, and
I bought a 7-piece granite kitchen counter today from the refit store. Beautiful set. Driving home, a piece flew out the back of my truck, smashed right on the road.
What? The piece of it fell off the back of your truck, and it's what? Say it again.
There's 2 pieces that make up the sink,
right?
10 feet long. And in the middle is the sink. So each piece has a impression of the sink in it, right?
Right.
So I bust one of those. So in essence, they're both done. I dropped my granite right out the back of my truck today. Poof, right on the ground.
I'm sorry to hear that,
That's
man.
That's the kind of, whatever. That doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me at all. Not at all. Or backing into a garage 10 minutes later and denting my bumper. That didn't bug me either.
Is it true that there was a rumor going around YouTube or social media that the police were searching your car today?
My car?
Yeah.
I don't have a car.
Or your vehicle.
I could care less. They come near me. They don't want to come near me. No. A superintendent caught me at work not wearing a mask at the bunkhouse. He walks in and goes, "Why not wearing a mask?" I go, "Because it's bullshit." 20 minutes. I went full kook on him. I think he's ordering me a psychological evaluation now.
That's serious, man. Especially in the line of work you do. That you got to take that stuff serious, man. You just got to play along with that with them, and then what's happening, right? You got the playbook, right?
I went full kook in Home Depot today. I went full kook in Co-op in the gas station. And I'm talking full kook. If there's people there and they're going to listen, man, because you guys got to wake up. We can't be going, "Oh, wow, look what they're doing. You can't wake these people up. Like I said, they're demoralized. There's nothing you can do. You could take them to a concentration camp. You could show them people starving to death, and they're going to look at you going, "Wow, that's pretty bad. Wow, I think I'm missing the football game. I got to go home.
I got to go watch football."
I don't even know if there is football anymore. So
yeah, I'm feeling you. So.
Yeah, the cops don't want to come up to me. They'll get it. It'll be like, fuck. I bet 4 of my friends that I'll be arrested by January 1st because of COVID.
Really?
Winnie Pooh's one of them.
Why would you want to bet on that?
Because you know what? Nobody's standing up to this.
Well, the problem is, Raven, here's the problem. You don't want to get arrested in a situation like this right now because they might not be going by the book or due process on this one.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I really don't care because I don't want to live in the world that they're going to make for us here. It's really going to suck. I just worked my whole life. I'm going on 32 years, man. I did hard time. 20 years on the gangs up north working on the track. I worked in Puckatawaga and all those crap places. 10 days in, 4 days out. 10 days in, 20 years of that. And now they're going to tell me I can't travel. I can't go here. I can't go there. I can't go in a restaurant. What I worked my whole life for to be able to do when I was done, I can't do because some greedy bankers think that they got a better plan for me. That's not going to fly. And we're going to fight in the streets when this is over. in the States and in Canada and in Australia, because the people are not going to take this. And they're listening to your channel right now, Mike, because there's no way you should be sitting at 13,000 subs. You should be sitting minimum 130,000. 200,000. I scan every channel out there. This is by far one of the best channels on there. Everyone in this room knows that. But for some reason, we're the only ones sitting in here, or they're somehow doing something to your numbers. I don't need to know anything about shadow banning and that stuff. Nothing. I just know they're doing something with your numbers because they don't want it to be that successful. Although they do want it to stay out here to keep a certain amount of agitation amongst the people, because when you get them hungry and you start to pull the pin on this system, you're going to want people that are going to be outside and have opinions, right? So we're a team. These are teams. We're forming teams. We're in the locker room right now. That's what we're doing, and we're going to take them in the second half. They know that this is all psychological on millions of aspects. This is psychological. You go down the rabbit hole and how psychological what these guys are doing, and you'll never come out. It's unbelievable, actually. I told Lenny I was going to go full kook tonight.
Well, no swearing. You can go full kook, but no swearing.
I don't swear. I never swear.
No, I'm saying you can go full kook, no swearing. I'm going to throw out. I'm going to ask you a very important question, and this could make or break the world. In your opinion, could Bill Gates do 10 push-ups?
Honestly,
he is the health minister of the planet now, or something like that. So
I think he'd struggle around 5 or 6. I really do. How heavy is that sweater? I don't know.
Woo! Oh yeah.
His wife can't do clapping push-ups. Her hands are huge.
Oh. All right. Okay, let's look at the comments here. Raven, make sure you wear your Raven costume for. Oh, somebody asked Raven if we could bring back the Raven mug on the online store.
Sure, I don't care. Yeah, sure. You know what? Lenny Poo has two.
Guys, I'm gonna bring back the Raven mug, but it's gonna be limited time offer only. So I'm gonna hit it up. Maybe Monday. Tomorrow is my day off. I'm not doing nothing tomorrow. But Monday, when I wake up, I'll put the Raven mug back on for people to check it out. Yeah, it's a pickup to buy. Yeah. Hey, are you gonna buy my dirt bike T-shirt? The Mike Martins one. That one's nice.
Do you know what this whole situation's doing to me? I got in the shower the other day wearing a toque.
Like a winter hat?
Yeah, like a toque. I got in the shower. I'm showering. I'm wearing a toque. What the hell am I doing? That's what this is doing to me. It's driving me nuts, man. Driving me nuts. And people I work with, it's driving them nuts too. It's like half of them are scared. Half of them don't even know what's going on. It's a complete attack on our mental well-being. A complete attack. Just what it did to us stress-wise is not worth shutting down the economy. Just the fact that it did to us stress-wise is not worth shutting down the economy. Never mention overflowing the hospitals and all the death, which we haven't even seen the repercussions of that yet.
Yeah, it's going to take another half a year to a year for it to start rolling out and aggregating. And once you start seeing the aggregation catch up, oof.
Last year in November, I said 45% of the world. Remember, 45% of the world, we were talking about protests. Lebanon, Iran, Iraq, France, Hong Kong. We did a whole show on Hong Kong, remember, in the summertime last year?
Yeah, we got we got a few callers in from Hong Kong to call us.
Yeah, that was a good show. 45% of the world was in protest last year. That was wage inequality, corruption in your government. That was all kinds of different reasons.
Yeah, I remember that. Like half of Brazil was on the street protesting. You had half of Germany protesting.
Yes.
You had 90% of France.
Yeah, the farmers in the Dutch farmers, they put a 4-cent WhatsApp tax on. I think Lebanon. It was. I think probably Layla knows that. I think it was Lebanon. Corruption everywhere. It was 45% of the world. I don't know what that is. 90 countries or something. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you have the repo market go, and then they say they're going to sign Brexit. Well, why did you push Brexit for 4 years? 3.5 years, you push Brexit. Then you say you're going to sign it. And the day they signed it was January 31st, 2020. You signed Brexit. Now they're having problems with Brexit again. 66 million Brits, right? They're having trouble with it. It's not working out for them. They're having up, and that's where those military weapons went. So we have 45% of the world in protest. Then we have Brexit getting signed. Then the repo market starts to falter. And then I saw that snowstorm and I thought, there's something coming here. And then I think about 7 or 8 weeks later, COVID came out, right? Mm-hmm. I'm saying it again. Something's coming here. There's too much shit going on in the States. These guys are agitating. It's on purpose. You can see it. Why would a government put bricks outside of buildings and let you smash places while you can't go to your grad, you can't go to church? This is obvious to see. You can see it. There's too much agitation. And they're almost asking us to do ridiculous things, like stay on a Zoom conference wearing a mask. They're trying to entice your emotions. They're trying to, at the same time, you can't go here, can't do that. They are screwing with our sense of well-being. And at the same time, they're hitting food distribution all around the world. And they're COVID. They know, got to shut the borders, can't bring the migrant workers in. How come COVID hits every food plant, but it didn't hit Walmart or Amazon anywhere at all those millions of workers? But it's hitting all those food plants.
Hold on. Stop the press.
I know it hit a couple here and there after people started talking about it.
Hold on. Why was construction essential work? Not government construction projects, condos and homes. Why was that considered essential? Because
so was real estate.
Yeah, our economy is based off of housing. 80% of, we read the article the other day on Better Dwelling, 80% of Canada's GDP is hinged on real estate. Woo!
I went to work 2 days ago, 10 o'clock at night. We go to work. They drive us out to our train. It's in the yard. It's a run-through train. It came from the east. It came in our yard. It stops. One crew gets off. One crew gets on. It keeps going. We had to stand there for 20 minutes. Every time we go, a truck pulls up. A guy gets out with a hazmat suit, wearing a mask, buckets, all his stuff. That guy goes in that engine and sanitizes that entire engine before we can get on that engine, and then we get on it, and then we go. That's what happens to every single train in Canada. A hazmat guy has to get on that. All these crazy rules. Mm-hmm. I walk in a restaurant, I wear a mask for 10 feet, then I'm allowed to take it off. It's the whole thing is just a mental mind. I don't want to say the swear word, but it's got the whole North America, Europe, all over China. Everybody is losing it. And like the 45% of countries in protest last year, this can't go on. There's a trigger coming. And that mail-in ballots of the presidential election, I believe, is going to be the catalyst where you get the whites against the blacks, the fascists, they're all going to come out on this is going to let go. And they're going to use that to seize power. And the digital dollar is going to come in. And they're going to force us into that digital dollar. And it's going to be, but we could get you your food. We could get it quicker to you if we could send the digital dollar. They've already got China handing out 10 million yuan today. They're handing it out in digital currency to their people in Shenzhen. You guys here, look, it comes in a red envelope, and then you load it up on your computer, and you can spend 200 yuan for everybody, whoever wins it, to get people to start using the digital yuan in China.
Yeah.
China gets
They're
it.
They're getting that so they can set up their wallets, the digital wallets, and not lose it.
The Rothschilds picked China first because if they get it, just like the virus was released there, they picked their countries. If they get it, then we'll want it because we'll think, we're falling behind. It's a lie. South China Sea, the islands, it's a lie. The Russians, it's a lie. All that is fear, control through fear. All of it. Yeah. There's no war. There's no hypersonic nuke going to blow us up. It's all a lie to control you through fear. There's 7.8 billion of us. That's about to go down. But they could. How is she going to control us all? This is a game. We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out fast. They know that. They're listening to this call right now. Ask them, hey, how do you look in the mirror tonight, knowing that you're going to take out families through starvation like the Bolsheviks did? How do you know that?
Yeah.
Because you know it's happening. How do you live with yourself? What's the payment? For the globalists, what's your payment? Adrenochrome? Is that what it is? Is that why you let them go late-term abortions? Is that why? Because it's a more pure form? Why is it? I want to know the answers to all these questions. I'll read and read and read, and you'll figure them out. They're there. I believe it's coming down before January 20th. Anytime now to the next 90 days.
Okay.
You're going to see widespread chaos starting in the U.S., and that election's going to be the catalyst. Those mail-in ballots is what's going to spark it off. A president doesn't come out and say, "Proud Boys, stand back, stand by for." Come on. And then they argue and fight. What is that, to set the tone in the country? You know, but they both agree on the vaccine. Got to get the vaccine.
Well, Germany is looking at 9 different vaccinations to leave the country. And other countries are setting it up in passports, passport format that gets added to your passport. So more documentation. Calm down, Raven. You need to breathe, buddy. I'm going to put a clapping and cheering. Hold on, clapping and cheering.
I promised Lily Poo that I'd go full coop.
Calm down. I don't want to get shut down.
Okay. Well, you know what? They can't do nothing to me anymore. I don't care. I'm not going to stand by. I'll tell you. And there's a lot of guys out there. I talk to them. They're not going to lie down for this either. There's a lot of people out there. A lot will though.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot that won't. I'm one of them. I'm not going to. The Lord, He's not going to take that shit.
No, Lord won't. No, Lord. Apparently, Lord is at Barbara Streisand's house in Los Angeles.
Well, he's a big Barbara Streisand fan. I know. He has 2 life-size posters. One was a B. Arthur, and one was a Barbara Streisand. B. Arthur, that's Maude from the Golden Girls.
Okay, let me get Hitting Stacks on the phone. He's got something to say.
Okay.
You stay out of trouble, and I don't want to hear you screwing up, okay?
No, I'm fine. I'm well within the boundaries of the law.
Okay. All right, Raven, God bless. We'll talk soon. And yeah, I'll call you Monday or Tuesday, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, ciao. Bye. That is the Raven, 2-time world champ on Mike in the Night. We will release the Raven mug on Monday. It's going to be a limited time edition on Monday. Okay, what do we got here? Where's Hitting Stacks? Or where did that? Yeah, Hit Stacks Tommy. Tommy?
Mike, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, brother. So,
yeah, sure.
All right, so before we start, I know you're very upset.
Yes.
I know you're very upset. I read all the comments you wrote to me, and you're very upset about the situation. So,
yes.
Stay calm. We'll talk it over. And
all right.
So, what's going on? Let's start off with the mass exodus in Sydney, Australia. What the heck is going on with that?
All right, so I'll just start from the really beginning. So the first time I saw your video was the one about Sydney being a S-hole, which is a poop hole. Because I just feel ever since 2010, I felt really lonely in the city. And as time went by, I just felt the infrastructure is crumbling. Everything's decaying. Public transport is crumbling. The train services is crumbling. Everything is just falling apart. Things are getting more expensive. A cup of coffee is like, small cup is like 4 Australian, which is like 3 US or like 250 US for like a tiny cup.
Yeah. I heard cigarettes are $50 a pack.
Yeah. It's true. It's going to be like $60 in like those city convenience stores, like those tourist hotspots. It's like $60 Australian, which is like 40 US for like a pack of 20
Dude, you know
cigarettes?
how much land I could buy in Florida with $40 US?
Yeah, I know. It's so crazy. And then I was just on the internet and I searched up Sydney is a poop hole, and then I found your video on YouTube. And then before that, I saw like a lot of comments of people just getting fed up of Sydney, and they're all locals, people like they live here, they're born here. For me, it's been really hard because ever since high school, a lot of my friends, they just left the city. They studied in Sydney, like UNSW, Uni of New South Wales, and Sydney University and UTS. These are just university inside Sydney. But once they studied, and once they finished the internship program in Sydney, they just completely relocated, let's say to Melbourne or to like a regional area or like to a tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, because it's more affordable and you actually own the land. as opposed to paying strata fee, which
Yeah, but you're going 100,
it's a
200 miles
mafia,
out of the
right?
CBD.
Oh yeah, I'm still stuck in the city. I'm stuck because I'm well. It's a long story. My life isn't like that great because there's a lot of people in Sydney who are actually stuck. They can't get out. They're trying to prepare to get out. I'm still sort of preparing. I know I sort of left late.
So, I guess you finished your studies. If you don't mind me asking, are you in your earlier 30s or early 20s or
I'm actually Gen Z, Generation Z.
what? I
Yeah,
forgot what that meant.
that's like off 1996.
96. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah, and
So you can't. Are you employed right now with this?
yes,
How's the
I'm employed,
lockdown
but
thing going on there?
the problem was I was unemployed for like 3 months, and then that crunched like a lot of my money.
And are you home? Are you on lockdown?
I'm not on lockdown because I'm in Sydney,
Okay.
but I just mostly stay at home because if you go outside to a restaurant, they have to record your name, and if there's an outbreak, the police will investigate that entire place and then force you to have a 14-day quarantine. So I'm not gonna do that. If let's say I need to eat out, which I barely do, I'm just gonna get takeaway. I'm not gonna get 14 days locked in home. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
It's draconian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lord Humongous says I'm a Zoomer. I'm just looking at the comment section.
Nice, nice.
Gen Z.
Yeah, you've messaged me quite a bit, and it's very upsetting.
Yeah.
The transitioning from.
Yeah, the
you know,
reason I couldn't get on air because I have to work like most of the time, especially on the Thursday.
Mhm.
I work in the afternoon, so I couldn't make it. I know the show is like 12 o'clock my time, but I have to be there at work at 2 o'clock at my place, so I couldn't make it on a Thursday. But
Someone
yeah.
saying Mike Martin's and Hitting Stacks, a suburb 18 miles away from Sydney CBD, has properties selling for close to 3 million Australian dollars. And you know what? I could find the same property, same square footage, and more land
Yep.
in somewhere
Yep,
in
in
somewhere in
Florida
a good part
or
of the United
Dakota.
States
Yes.
for
Yes,
230
that's right.
grand.
Absolutely, absolutely. What I like about the United States is I had an American friend. He was like from Pennsylvania, like in high school, and then we were like talking. He was like 2 years younger than me, so he's a Generation Z as well. And he said like because Canada, I mean not Canada, America, because they can hold dual citizens. So he holds a U.S. and Australia, and he said he's getting rid of the Australian. I said why, dude? And he's like because he likes IT, he's gonna get into that industry. And he said he's just abandoning Australia. I said why? He said like he just can't put up with this crap, like 3 bed for 1.5 million Australian, which is like 1.1 US. And in Pennsylvania, he can pick something the same size, the same like acreage or land size for like 150K US,
Yep.
which is around 230K Australian dollars or 210K Canadian dollars.
You see, a lot of people message me from Australia saying, "Oh my God, your videos, Mike, comparing Florida real estate to Sydney is
Yeah,
crazy."
it's ridiculous because of the propping up, and this crap has been happening for like more than 10 years. It's not like oh it's 2015, it suddenly spiked, oh there's a boom, this oh mining boom. It's not that. They've been propping up this thing for like more than 20 years, and now it's just coming to an end. I hope it just goes downhill because if they want to keep it uphill, they're just gonna have to go money printer go burr. It's just gonna be money printer go burr, money printer go burr, and you know what that will happen. They will just completely raise food prices. Since COVID, food prices has gone up by 10% in Sydney,
Right.
and last year in 2018 to 19, so that was like before COVID. Like when I first saw like your channel, the food prices went up by 6%, like compounded. So this is not like 10% from like 1980. I'm talking about
No. This is in the last quarter.
So there's a saying, like I think there's a quote from Einstein or someone saying like compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. So you have your seven wonders, like all these beautiful places. You have the eighth wonder. Eighth wonder is compounding. Those who understand it will earn it from
That's
passive
correct.
income. Or those who don't understand it will have to pay for it. and I completely understand. And the whole system is a lie. They teach Zoomers and millennials like study hard, get a job, this that, and then you're gonna like pay off your bills, pay off your debt. You're gonna have like a happy life. But then ever since I saw videos on Robert Kiyosaki, you know Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, I think I know that guy. I've seen him around on my
and then when I watched him, I realized there's like so much stuff that you don't learn because I did economics and commerce at high school level, but they never mention you anything.
Dude,
So
they don't even teach you how to manage your credit debt and explain to you how dangerous student loans are. The first thing they do when you reach grade 10, 11, they come in and what university are you going to and which student loans are going to be beneficial for you.
Yeah, the thing is, a lot of millennials and Gen Z, they're sort of like delaying the payment to their student loans. So basically, they're going to, they're not going to pay. They're just going to get up to that threshold. So if you earn, I think below 45K Australian, you don't have to like really pay much on the debt. But if you earn more, you have to pay off the debt, and obviously over like a 10-year period. But when you stretch it out, it's like a 30K loan, which is ending up to be like 60K or 50K for like his whole lifetime. If they're extending it, even if the interest is low, the cake that you pay is like heaps because it's all compounded. It's not build up on the previous value. It's all compounded.
It's compounded. That's what I call on the channel VIG.
Yeah, exactly. And I paid off my student loans, and now I don't have much savings, but I got rid of debt. The thing is you have to get rid of debt. That's a key. I mean, like, if there's people in your show who's like Gen Z or millennial, just pay off your student loan. Like, even if the government says don't pay for it, because sooner or later they're gonna grab money off you through a negative interest rate or force you to pay because the government is pretty broke. Especially Australia, the debt has been, I think it's about more than $200-300 billion in debt, and that's compounding. When I was in high school back in 5-6 years ago, it used to be like $50-60 billion debt. Now it's like more than like 5-6 times. And it's not getting better.
No.
And this is all pre-COVID.
It's
so
pre-COVID.
Well,
everything was falling apart pre-COVID. Everything was falling apart. We had Raven on the show. We had a couple other guests on the show. They were already predicting food shortages, all kinds of stuff.
And then now you have like all these random channels like post-dicting, like saying like it's all happening. No. We've been talking it for like years. We've been warning people for like the 2008 GFC, like before then, you know.
Yeah, my first Australia video I did 7 years ago, where wages weren't. I read an article somewhere that wages weren't keeping up to the cost of housing, and this was like 7-8 years ago. I read this.
Yeah,
Then I read it on my channel, and my channel got flagged for me reading that article written by somebody else.
Yeah. Mike, you're an honest guy. I know that because I watched, like, during March when I was, like, unemployed, when the COVID was, like, really, really bad in Australia, when the toilet paper all got smashed. Ooh. You had, like, 400-something videos on your housing crisis. So I basically watched every video that's on Australia. So the ones that's on like Canada or New Zealand, I didn't touch. I just watched the one on Australia. And as I watched, I noticed something strange. Like your 400 vids turned into 397. So they're actually removing your vids.
They are.
I know this because I've been tracking it. I watched those videos.
And they are taking them down. They are slowly taking down the videos. They just have a bit like there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that can make this. One, YouTube wants to award some sort of a channel for being consistent in this and this and that. So they want to remove it from me and give it to someone else. That's one thing. I don't think that's the case though. Another one is they want to give creators that have a lot of videos or record like some sort of like a Golden Globe for an independent creator, not a news podcast like a big news media that puts out a video every 3 minutes, like independent videos made by. I would probably win that one hands down because I had over 4,500 videos. Now I'm down to 43. But so they can't really do anything with my channel there.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they can't really do anything.
So it's a problem for them. We're like, where do we get rid of this guy? What do we do? We don't like this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I want to jump into Martin North really quickly. His channel is called Walk the World, right?
I had him on last week, 2 weeks ago.
So his channel is called Walk the World. I just want everyone who's in the chat, who's from like Australia, whether you're in Queensland or in Sydney or wherever it might be, just go on the YouTube and type in Robert Kiyosaki Martin North, and then you'll see 2 videos. One is from 4 months ago called Recession, Depression, The Winners and Losers with Robert Kiyosaki. That's the video title, 17 minutes. And the next video is from a month ago, and it's called Watch for the Signs with Robert Kiyosaki. And then he's not a post-dictator, he's a predictor. He said 2008 January, the Lehman Brothers went down. Like he predicted that in January 2008, and then on CNN, and the CNN guy thought he was just like a crazy conspiracy. And then in September, Lehman Brothers in 2008 was gone, was just completely obliterated.
Wiped.
Just, crumbled into dust, literally crumbled into dust. And then, like, these 2 videos, I just urge everyone from Australia just
Martin
watch
North,
that video.
guys, we had Martin North 3 weeks. I asked him a couple of hard-hitting questions. I asked Martin North. There's a question. This is the question.
Yeah, watch that as well. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna have Randy Patrick on next trends in the housing market from Florida.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna have one guy from Australia, and the week after, I'm gonna ask that guy from Australia. He's been making housing videos for a couple, I don't know, about 8 months now. I'm gonna ask that guy. Has foreign investing created a crater big enough crater in the Australian housing market that even if the Australian people default on their mortgages, that nothing will happen because there's enough foreign interest in the housing market?
Well, the foreign investors, they're just always going to pump up the prices.
No, I understand that, but is there enough foreign invested money in Australia so that even if the Australian person that owns their home and they work every day and they don't have investment properties, if they default on their homes, it won't matter because there's so much other money already in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that question make any sense?
Yeah, I understand. It's like you can't really compare it. It's like you're comparing the moon to the size of the sun. Like you can't compare like the mass.
Right.
It's just you can't compare because the laundered money, and that's been going on for ages.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like pre-COVID. It's not GFC.
No. They've been doing it. Australia's been
even since the 90s.
2008 is when it got really strong.
Yeah, exactly.
And then 2013 is when they started laundering through casinos in Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it kept going, and then I got a couple of death threats.
Suddenly spiked. That's why it suddenly spiked in 2013. 2013 supposed to be a bearish market. Every city in Australia should be like linked to Perth, like realistically.
Yes.
Like if everything's going along with average wages and a autopilot, as you say, autopilot economy, but because of all these interventions, all these crap coming in, all these first-time buyers, and then some people, they just get greedy. Like there's so much greed. That's one of the factors as well. People, they get a lot of equity and they're like, oh, probably it's gonna keep going up. And then I had someone say, like, back in I think 2017 uni, he was like saying by 2100, like last year of this century, the rents for like a garage is gonna be like $1,000 in Sydney. I was like, you gotta be joking. Well, Sydney price is gonna go down. It's not gonna always go up. And then now he's silent. And all the property bulls, all the so-called Airbnb entrepreneurs, they're all silent as a cricket in the grass.
That's true.
Like,
Did you see that?
Because it's crashing.
Did you see that micro house, that little shed house that sold in Toronto for $1.8 million?
Yeah, I've seen the Toronto garage for like $1 million. That's ridiculous. I've seen in this place called St. Peter's, is a suburb. I think there's a guy called Mike in the comment section. He was talking to me earlier, texting in the comment section. He said he also lives in Sydney. I think he knows a suburb called St. Peter's. That place, there's like those old 1920 style units.
Yeah.
2 bed, 1 bath, no garage. So you have to park your car in a parking space and like a super tiny yard. And then it's like those 1920 style, like it's not an independent house. So on your left side and your right side, you're connected with like other houses. Yeah, it's like a duplex, like on both ends. So it's not like a semi-detached where you have like an independent property split into. You have like a street of properties separated into like slices. And that property sold for 1.7 million Australian. And this is like inside COVID. I don't know who the hell bought that. I think it's just this FOMO. It's still there, but it's waning.
But I don't think interest rates are low enough that the Australian proper or the guy that works as a doctor, even a doctor in Australia, I don't think he could afford unless he put an 80% down payment.
Oh yeah, they can't. Yeah, because I have a doctor I know this doctor, and then he lives like in the western suburbs, like let's say 20 kilometers away from like the CBD, like yeah, because yeah, he can't afford it. And the doctors who are like currently living in Sydney, okay, are people who bought like in the 90s or like 1980s. But if you're like 2000, 2010, like you don't have a chance, man. You don't have a chance in Sydney. Just if you're like in Sydney and you can get out, just get out ASAP, please. Just get the hell out of here ASAP. And if you're like in Melbourne, if let's say the COVID's gone or something, just get out of Melbourne ASAP. Because in other areas of, let's say, Victoria State or New South Wales or Queensland, there's so much more opportunities. It's like you living in Merit, you're debt free. Like I just moved houses like I think 7 months ago, and it used to be like 10 Ks away from the city. Now it's like 13 Ks. Even though I moved, let's say 2 Ks away, you just feel that stress like gone. Just even 5 Ks, 10 Ks away from the center, you just feel like that race, that treadmill feeling is just gone. That stress is gone.
I got a video here I want to show you guys. It's Housing Crisis Australia, Get Out of Sydney. It's from three. It says it's from 3 years ago, but it's older because I haven't lived in Vancouver in about over 4.5. So it says get out because YouTube took this video down and then they put it back up. So here it is. Housing Crisis Australia, Get Out of Sydney, and that's from again. It says 3 years. It's older than that. I know because I haven't lived there in 4.5. Yeah. But I've been warning people to get the heck out of those cities.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I feel so lonely, because after 2014, when I finished high school, all my friends, like, they all left. They're just sick and tired of this crap. And then I had like a colleague. He was in the same high school as me, but then he's like 5-6 years older than me. And then he's actually Filipino, so he's like he was born in Philippines, and he migrated here like 2000, 2001. And then their family, he and his sister, his mom and dad, like they sold their home here, and then they moved back to the Philippines to create like a business or something. And they went back, I think 2018, January, February. So I was working in that like retail setting back in like that time. He was like a supervisor of me, and I missed that guy. He's like really, really good, really nice. And then he just got the hell out. I didn't really know, like, like you want to make friends at work, but like people, like, the turnover rate is so high because people, they leave the city because they can't afford it. They go to Newcastle or like another tier 2, tier 3 city because they just can't make ends meet in Sydney. And I'm looking at the comment section. There's this guy called Mike, and then he said there's a suburb called Beecroft. Yeah, Beecroft, well, that's actually 25 kilometers away from the city, but it's 3 million. I think it's, again, because of the propping up. But I think Sydney, there's no chance. But when I was in high school, Beecroft still had like some chance. I'm just looking at the comment section, and a few suburbs.
Yeah, because it's like 25 kilometers, right? So
20 kilometers, yeah, 20 to 25, yeah. And then there's another suburb called Revesby, Panania, Padstow. Those are like 25-ish kilometers away. That's like an hour, 10-minute drive. And then beyond that is like Campbelltown, Narellan. So the place I work now, my supervisor, so he's like the head supervisor of the shop. So he earns about like 80 to 90 grand Australian easy, right? But he gets taxed 20% to 30%. So he gets like nothing left. He lives like 5th Ring Road. Like, he lives in Narellan. That's like 1 hour, 30 minutes drive to like the place I work. And
does he have one of those robot cars that he pushes the button and drives you home?
There is no robot cars. There's a
you
few,
know what
like,
I mean? Those electric cars.
No one has the money. He just has like those 2009 BMW. No, because the people who have like expensive cars are people who have like heaps of debt. That's the funny bit. Who borrow a lot. He actually used to live, let's say, 20 kilometers away from the city, but Narellan, that suburb, is like 45 kilometers away from the city. Yeah, because it's really far. And Sydney, the the transport system is actually crumbling. I've seen like your Sydney is like S-hole video. You're talking about the Sydney trains crashing. I was at Redfern Station one day. Many of the viewers probably know. I was talking to this transport worker. I said like, how did this like crumbling infrastructure happen? And then like I just went up front. I try not to be confrontational. Like a few passengers got a bit scared, but I didn't mean to scare anyone. And then the worker was like, this is getting out of control as well. He said like ever since 2016, the transport system in Sydney, the Sydney trains has been crumbling. And then when you Google, just put in Google Sydney trains speed, it's actually average 43 kilometers an hour, which is really, really bad. Let's say in China or India or like Russia or like United States or something, they probably have like trains like 100 Ks or something like that. Australia is like 40 Ks. And the trains are so expensive. If you go 10 Ks train one trip, it's like $4, $5 Australian, which is like 3 US. Wow. And if you live in the first ring road, so there's a road called M1, which is called Motor 1 Road. Just type like Sydney M1. The tolls is so that road goes from like the airport towards the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. One way, $16 Australian. Come back, another $16 Australian. So that's about like $10 US one way. I'm talking about one way. And we have people working like from eastern suburb to the northern suburb, and they come home work, they have to pay like $40 in tolls a day. That's about $30 US a day.
So too bad we didn't get those flying cars.
Yeah, no, there is no flying cars.
I'm joking. I'm just being. I'm trying to lighten up the situation a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Listen, we're winding up to my third hour. I'm gonna have you back on the show again, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
And maybe if you want to come on trends in the housing market too sometime, you're welcome to come and talk about the housing situation.
Because it's just my Sunday. I don't have work. I have free time. But
okay, then you could come on Mike in the Night again. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't have much to say about in the Mike of the Night topics. It's mainly about housing.
Okay,
yeah, but I know in Mike in the Night, you guys are talking about COVID and all this. I'm a bit off topic.
Okay, you know what? Do me a favor. I want you to write down the 10 reasons why I want to leave Sydney. Write them down, and I'll make an independent. I'll make an independent video with you alone, and it won't be live, and then I'll upload it.
Yeah. I think it's better for me to make it independent. Yeah.
Yeah. Write down the 10 top reasons why I want to leave Sydney, Australia, and then we'll make a show for it. And then what I'll do is I'll just make it with you, record it, and then upload it, and then do that.
All right. Mike, I have one more thing.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit long, but is it okay for the next interview we'll talk about a little bit on like the apartments and like Mascot Towers? Because I already
got somebody coming on for that next Wednesday.
Yeah, because I'm actually like a first-hand witness of like what happened on that day, because I used to work in like Mascot, and then in the evening when I finished work, I saw like police cars and like fire trucks like surrounding. I thought there was like a fire. And then the next day I came to work, there was like a building issue, and then we had like customers coming into our shop saying like they had to leave because the infrastructure, the buildings like cracked. And then I went closer near the building, so I actually went near there before they like closed off the entire area, and then I saw like this like massive crack. And then back then the blowout was like $3 million, $5 million. I was predicting by 2020 it's gonna hit like 10 million, 15 million like in repairs, but now it's like more than 53 million in repairs.
Guys, Tommy's talking about the shoddy condo builds in Australia, a couple of towers that were built that people can't live in, and people had to relocate somewhere else because the structure wasn't safe. And there's a lot of mortgages going sideways with that.
Yeah. People are actually declaring bankruptcy. Like I watched a current affair and the 60 Minutes about like the reporters interviewing the residents. Some of the tourists, well, the people renting, they aren't really affected. They just have to vacate and throw out like furniture. But the people who actually bought and who are actually owners living in there, they're like screwed. And many of them are still like mortgaged. And we're not talking about 200K like mortgage. We're talking
we're
about
talking about
600,
850,000,
yeah, we're talking about
$1.4
half a
million.
million dollars average, and on top of that they have to put repair costs. That's the thing. And I just wish in the next video I want to touch on the Ashfield apartments, because there's this other suburb that has like apartment cracking, and I first found that video out on this channel called Heiser Says. So I just spell it out, Heise, Heise, and then Says, S-A-Y-S.
Oh, I know that guy. I think I'm subscribed to his channel.
Yeah. I just hope one day, I just dream of this day. I just wish like you guys could do like a 4-person like stream like on Zoom. So like you, and then meet up with Martin North, and then Heiser Says, and then Robert Kiyosaki, and then you guys have like a 1-hour session, and then you guys talk about Bitcoin, and then talk about, let's say, other cryptos, oil, and then talk about Australian housing, and then the corona. I just wish
we can
you
arrange
guys
that. I
do
can make a few phone calls.
That would like be so cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually really interested in crypto. Because I did a lot of research. I found like the property markets worldwide, that's gonna keep falling down. That's crumbling unless they keep propping it up with money printer go burr. Bonds are pretty much dying. Bonds, they're pretty much dead to treasuries. Stocks is very volatile, and currencies, because of the trade wars, the currency pairs I don't want to touch. But the only thing I think is promising is crypto. I don't want to be like shilling for crypto or anything, but I use this thing called CoinSpot. It's actually recommended by a neighbor, and then I flipped this thing called Synthetex or something, this crypto, from $50 to $250. So it's like, before I didn't really believe in crypto, but then during the lockdown and stuff, I learned more and more about from you and from Robert, from Mike, from Martin North, from Heiser Says, and then from like a few cryptos. And I think like the only safe bet is pretty much gold, silver, crypto. And Robert Kiyosaki, he was saying this God's money, and then there's like the fake money, so which is like the Antichrist, satanic money. And that's the Antichrist, satanic, mark of the beast, 666, whatever you call it. That money is just fiat. And that fiat is like the Australian dollar, the American dollar, Canadian dollar, euro, pound, yen, yuan, whatever it is. The real money is gold, silver, Bitcoin, and a few altcoins. I think that's gonna boom in the future. I think. And have you heard of something called Yuan Finance?
No.
It's actually really interesting. So it's YEARN, and then just finance.
Send me a link. Send me a link on Skype, and I'll look at it. No problem.
And 3 months ago, that was worth $40. Now it's worth $40,000.
What?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm serious. I'll send you the link. It's like a crypto. So like, you know how you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all of that. Ethereum has like some limitations and disadvantages, but Yearn Finance sort of acts similarly to Ethereum, but it doesn't have like a lot of the limitations, and it's more like efficient than Ethereum. So that caused a lot of interest, and then interest in the market and development, as well as people seeing it rise. People went FOMO as well, and then that spiked to like $40,000. So if you put $1,000 in it, let's say in July, it would have been like $1 million now, and you just retire.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
Tommy,
ridiculous.
I gotta let you go because I'm falling asleep here, buddy. It's 3 and it's getting pretty late here. But I will get you back on the show again. I promise. We'll arrange. I got you on Skype. I'll get you back on so we can work out. We can make some videos together. Okay.
Yeah, and that last crypto I wanna like say is called Synthetex, which is SYNTHETIX.
Okay.
I put $50 down for that, and then it flipped to like $250.
Nice.
And
that's enough money to get you to Florida.
Yeah. The thing is, I want to learn about cryptos more, because I think like year on year, like compared to like 2008, let's say bonds or like Germany 30 or like ASX or like TSX, all these stocks and everything, I think the highest yield is crypto. That's the only thing that has the highest yield. Also gold and silver, but they're suppressing gold.
Yeah, they've been spoofing those markets for years now. You know
they're
that.
manipulating it.
Yeah, it's been decades.
They want to try and intervene in crypto as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I got into crypto early. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Listen, I'll
yeah.
get you back on the show. I promise. It's I've been going for
Yeah,
3 hours
thanks,
and 5
Mike.
minutes, and I have to go to the bathroom.
All right, I'll let you.
I'll get you
take
back
care.
on. Don't worry. I'll be here again. Don't worry.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Tommy. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Wow. He's got so much. He messages me a lot. I'm going to get him back on the show. I'm going to make some independent videos. We're going to go over the shoddy workmanship or the shoddy stuff that's shoddy condos in Australia. We'll go over that. I'll make a video. And then I'm going to get him to write out 10 reasons why I want to leave Sydney. And he'll be honest with it. As long as he doesn't swear, it's fine. And we could, we could go from there. And yeah, I want to thank everybody. Guys, I'm going to go to bed. I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight, all the people commenting. I want to thank Stephen Van Meter for coming on and actually unloading a lot of stuff for us tonight, a lot of information to unpack. I'm going to make an independent video with that one, just gonna cut it and put a legendary guest on the show for an independent video for legendary guests. And yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. I'm going to go straight to sleep, man. I'm tired. Will you guys have a good night? Remember, guys, stay safe. And if you can't stay safe, please be careful. And thanks for watching. God bless. Anthony Ruvalacaba said he's going to call next Saturday. Thank you. Please call in because I know you have a lot of deep information on metals and you know a lot about the market. So I really want Anthony to come on the show next week, please. Yes, Jeff Salcero. Thanks, Heartsweet. Thank you, Asmodia 2011. Thank you for Anthony Ruvalacaba hitting stacks. Who else? Oh, man. Metal Gear Mark III, Lord Humongous, Blink Billy, Mitch Madden, of course, Layla, Matthew Ello, Heartsweet again, hitting stacks again. Guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight and being part of the show and the great questions. I'm going to go to sleep, man. It's been a long night. Good night, guys. Stay safe. And if you can't, please be careful. Thanks for watching.